My overall feelings in the patch are the quests are amazing, and I'm very confident that people are overestimating the top lane quest. I don't think the top lane quest is going to be that good, besides the fact that they will hit level 16 early. I think the mid lane quest is busted. I think the jungle quest movement speed is crazy, and I don't like how they accelerated the quest. I think the support and AD quests are enormous, great quality of life stuff. All the crit changes are like just numbers, so I assume they're doing good, but it's hard to really gauge it. The new items are awesome. I think the support tank item is going to be broken, but that's that on that. They changed Elise for some reason and made her better, which is fine. And then I like the split push buffs with the Crystalline changes and the turret plating changes and the vision changes. I actually think the vision changes are okay, but we need to learn more about them because it's kind of unclear right now. The minion changes and like the game accelerating pacing with removing Atakhan, moving up Baron, and like making minions spawn faster is interesting. I think it'll be good. I want a faster game. Oh, and then the best change of them all, the game is starting at 1 minute and 5 seconds now instead of 1 minute 30 seconds. Thank the Lord. I'm so sick of invades. I'm so sick of all this level 1 shenanigans. Enough is enough. Run to your lane where you belong and sit there, and do not invade my jungle. Let me farm in peace and mind your business. Thank you. Patch 26.1 notes are finally here. Welcome to the new year. We're changing the game finally. Welcome to a brand new season of League of Legends. We've got a plethora of far-reaching changes in this patch, so if you don't want to read thousands of words, here's a brief overview. Strategic gameplay moves towards turret pushing and away from epic monster contests with tuning changes and the brand new Crystalline Overgrowth. Role power is rebalanced with brand new role quests for each role. New vision mechanics to learn and master await you with Faelights. New items for each class. Yearn, who's yearning right now, for a new home in your inventory, plus more champions base crit damage is now 200%. I didn't even know that wasn't a thing for a lot of champions. Ranked play has new changes to reduce the pain of autofilling. The game is also a little faster, both in conventional Summoner Swift and Swift play. If you want to learn more about these changes, check out the devlog here or simply read on. Alongside the new seasonal changes, we have the new Demacia themed Summoner Swift map. Yay! ARAM Mayhem balance updates and overhaul to Swift play to make it even swifter, and lobby hostage shaking and more. Best of luck in your climbs on your augment rolls, and we'll see you in Demacia. They are extending the duration of ARAM Mayhem. Everyone cheer. Everyone cheer up in arms. Raise your arms to the sky. It's great. So much is changing. We don't have an overview for everything. We're going to have to read literally everything, and I will be giving my opinion on the fly, and also probably putting timestamps for everything if you want to just like know what's going on easily. So first, role quests. This year, we're introducing a major new concept to Summoner Swift: role quests. Building off the item-based quests that junglers and support players have had for years, we're adding new lane phase defining quests for the other 3 positions and updating the existing quests for support and jungle. You'll be automatically assigned the position quest corresponding to the role you've queued up as. If you want to trade positions, you'll need to do that during champion select, and the game will now reward playing out your lane matchup at least for the first few minutes every game. This change will also help us better balance and tackle the pro play meta around lane swaps going forward, so no more lane swap detected pop-ups. Great. Every position will receive quest rewards for successfully completing their role quest. For top, mid, and bot lane players, these will be entirely new advantages. For support and jungle players, your existing rewards will be updated and you'll be receiving some new rewards as well. Great. So I love that role swap or lane swap is removed for pro play. I do like watching pro play, so quests will eliminate that, because if you don't know when you're out of your lane, you are not accomplishing your quest. This is for mid lane and top lane specifically. So I think it will help with that. And so far from what I know about the role quests, I do think that the mid lane role quest is the best. I think the top lane is the most overrated. I think the jungle one is a nice quality of life. I think the ADC one is so good, and I think the support one is so good. So I would probably rank it mid support, AD, top jungle, or jungle top. I really think the top lane one is overrated. But let's go on and see what specifically they're doing. So queuing up. In all queues with assigned positions, you will be automatically given the quest associated with your assigned position. Champion select. Okay. So no more swapping lanes to do matchup fishing. cool. Completing your quest. Once in game, you'll complete your quest by playing out your assigned lane. For each position, you'll earn points reflected in the UI near your item inventory for taking appropriate actions, many of which are based on what actions you do in game today. And when you've earned enough points, you'll receive a reward. Support and jungle players will earn points for taking basically the same actions as before. Supports will stack their world atlas, and jungle players will grow their pets. For top, mid, and bot players, you'll earn points for champion takedowns, epic monster takedowns, minion kills, turret plates, turret takedowns, and some will passively generate over time. Minion, turret, and plate rewards are doubled in your assigned lane. Mid laners will also progress by dealing damage to champions. Passive generation is a slow trickle outside of your lane, but is a significant amount of overall quest progress while you are in and around your assigned lane. Roughly past your outermost living turret in your assigned lane, drive your opponent out of lane or kill them to slow their quest progress. So I do think this is going to nerf roaming mids. I do think this is going to force a lot of laners to stay in their lane. But I think more than nerf roaming mids, I think this is going to buff unroaming mids. So right now, in my opinion, the meta of the game is to push your mid lane and roam and fight in your jungle and go for objective. We have fight meta. That's all everyone does right now. And I think that because you get so much rewards for minion kills, turret plates, turret takedowns, and generating in lane, that you are going to be incentivized to stay in lane. And when you roam and try to do the fighting style of old, your lane opponent is not going to fall behind. When somebody would roam, like let's say you're playing, like a Talon mid versus Morgana matchup, just some stupid matchup, right? Talon is going to shove you in and go roam. But now, as he roams, he's not going to be getting his progress towards his quest, and he might be able to go out and get a kill, which would help him progress his quest. But in the meantime, Morgana will be progressing her quest and will be getting minions and turret platings, which will also progress her quest. And so that is a big deal. The quest for mid lane is enormous. Finishing your quest in general is a huge power spike, so I think it's going to be important to finish it quickly. Let's see what these quests are. Top lane. Top lane has been a particularly difficult role to give appropriate agency to over the years and is frequently viewed as the position with the lowest agency. We're enhancing their agency in this update with universal access to teleport and ensuring that they are a relevant scaling champion by increasing their experience gains and level cap. Gold and experience for minions reduced by 25% outside of top lane until level 3. So top lane is going to hit level 3 first. That is a big deal, I'm pretty sure. That's what this means. Their quest progresses by killing minions in top lane, getting epic monster kills, so getting the top lane objectives. I don't even know if you have to participate or if it's just if your team does that. 25 per turret takedown, doubled in lane. 20 per turret, or plating, doubled in lane. This is huge. 15 per champion takedown, and then starting at 105 plus 1 per 3 seconds, passively increased to plus 8 per 5 seconds in and around top lane. That's insane, okay? This is a huge deal. 8 versus 1. And remember, you're getting 40 for a turret plate, so that's 5 instances of this, which is 25 seconds. A turret plate is equal to 25 seconds of standing still in lane, okay? So it's so important to stay in your lane now for top lane. And you could go and put a ward down and come back, sure, but you want to be pressuring, because the other thing to note is that starting at 105, you get 1 per 3 seconds, increased to 8 in and around top lane, note roughly past your outermost living turret in your assigned lane. So if you're pushed back behind your turret, you are not getting the quest progress. So it is going to be very good to bully. And this also means that jungle is going to be buffed too. Let's see the rewards. Your level cap is increased to 20. I don't think this matters. 600 experience is a big deal. All future experience is increased by 12.5%. This is a big deal. I think what is a big deal is hitting a level 16 power spike. When you hit level 16, you're going to be so strong, and you're going to hit level 16 way earlier than normal. We're talking like 25 minutes consistently. 25 minutes used to be if you were super fed. Now you're going to hit it much earlier, and it's going to be a big deal for all your like game-changing top lane ultimate gamers. If the top laner did not select teleport as a summer spell, gain unleash teleport on a 7-minute cooldown. This is okay. 7-minute cooldown's insane. You'll probably use this like once or twice. like 7-minute cooldown, you really, it is so long. 7-minute cooldown is so long. And then if the top laner did select teleport as a summoner spell, they are also shielded for 30% of their maximum health on arrival, lasting for 30 seconds. That's crazy. So like, I really think you're still going to be incentivized to take teleport. If you don't take teleport and you're a champion like Riven, right? Let's pretend you're Riven, right? Riven running ignite in lane, gets fed, whatever. They have the 7-minute cooldown. You have to remember, teleport is slow now. Teleport is already super nerfed. It's not that good. I mean, it's good, but it's not like super OP like it used to be. It's a slow, predictable teleport in now. It's worse, and you're only gonna be able to do it every 7 minutes. And if you're the Riven doing that, you're going up against the person who is teleport on a 4-minute cooldown, who's also getting 30% of their max health on arrival. So they're super tanky and can make more dangerous teleport plays because of that. I think teleport is still gonna be really crazy. And again, I don't think the level 20 cap is gonna make that big of a difference. Of course, being a high level has a lot of stats, but I think it's gonna be less impactful than we think it is. So overall, I think the top lane quest is good for hitting level 16 and good for getting this 30% max health shield. That's my feeling. Jungle quest completion is mostly unchanged except for some light tuning. You'll complete your quest sooner, and the Gust Walker hatchlings reward is slightly reduced compared to the other options. In addition to their previous rewards, junglers now get increased golden experience after completing their quest, better allowing them to be a powerful champion in the later game, as well as increased movement speed in the jungle. This is great. I do think it is an issue to scale as a jungler. I've felt before that when I hit the level like 13, 14 mark and I'm clearing my camps like instant, I'm not getting as much gold. I have a lot of downtime. I'm like more incentivized to just fight. So they lowered the pet quest counter, which is a big deal. The blue smite has been nerfed, which does suck. It is the best smite, but that's okay. Smite damage has been lowered, but then increased later. Oh, no. It's just increased overall. Okay, so that's really interesting. That's going to change smite fights a lot and make it easier to smite against some champions like the Luxes and Jinxes of the world. And then after quest completion, junglers gain 4% movement speed in jungle or river, increased to 8 while out of combat. That's so big. Wow, that's so big. Wow, that's so big. Relentless Hunter, I think, was not even 8% movement speed out of combat. This is so, wow. This is gonna be so important to finish. You're gonna be so fast. And then after quest completion, junglers gain 10 gold and 10 XP per large monster killed. Okay, the gold doesn't really matter, but the XP is nice. Wow, this is gonna get nerfed. This movement speed is gonna get nerfed. That's crazy, right? What? Isn't this crazy? 8% out of combat? That's not right. I don't like that. Anyway, whew. All right, jungle is stronger than I thought. I might bump them up on my list. Mid lane. Mid laners uniquely progress their role quest through dealing damage to champions in addition to other events. For rewards, mid laners receive a free upgrade to their boots and periodically gain an empowered recall. Nice. The boot upgrades are based on the items introduced for feats of strength, but they've been heavily reworked and are significantly more powerful now. That's so scary. Are you kidding me? Gold and experience from minions is reduced by 25% outside of mid lane until level 3. Okay, so this clarifies this on top lane that I was asking about. When you queue for your lane, it's nerfing early roams so much. So like the Nunus of the world, these champions that roam at level 1 and 2, like that are super annoying, they are going to get super nerfed for doing that. So I really think you're not going to see hyper early roaming mid laners, but level 3 is pretty easy to get. It's just going to nerf like the cheese level 1 roams that some champions do. So let's see what quest progress. You need 1350 points, so this is more than top lane. Ranged champions gain 1.5% of the damage dealt to champions as quest progress. Melee champions get 3%. That's bullshit. 1 minion per kill, plus 2 in mid lane. 30 per epic monster takedown. Again, I don't know if that's team or if the person does it. And then the same with the turret and turret platings. And then 25 per champion takedown. And then also 8 per 5 seconds in and around mid lane. So this is what I'm saying. You roaming mids are going to have pretty much 0-point generation where the person who's sitting in mid lane is getting +8. But if you're bullying someone under their tower, I do believe they're only going to get the 1 because they're going to be pushed out. Wow. Okay, so this is interesting. I don't know how I feel about range champions getting less. Obviously, range champions are OP, but like melee, I don't know. But everything else seems good. And let's see the rewards. So tier 2 boots upgrade to their corresponding tier 3 boots. If you do not have tier 2 boots in your inventory, they will be upgraded on purchase. Every 5 minutes, gain an empowered recall, reducing the channel time from 8 to 4, and champion takedowns reduce the cooldown of empowered recall by 1 minute. That's crazy. So in this way, roaming is going to be buffed a little bit, but it's going to be mid-game roaming, not early game roaming. The empowered recall is going to be enormous. It's going to be so hard to punish somebody with empowered recall, and you're going to see mid laners only recalling with the empowered recall. They're going to stay on the map for 5 minutes every single time if they can, because this is crazy. And when they do recall, they're going to run with Homeguards out of the base and be back to lane immediately. And talking about tier 3 boots, we are going to read through and see if they're more powerful, but I think this is going to change the mid lane meta a lot because it's going to be so catered towards defensive scaling mages, in my opinion. And we'll see. I could update this after I read it, but I think if you're playing a mid lane mage and you spike your first item, your lost chapter item, and then you quest completes and you just rush Ninja Tabai or Treads, and you're up against like, you know, Syndra, you're up against Zed, you're unkillable. Like, God forbid you go an item like Leandre's or Roa, you will be unkillable with those boots early on. They're already broken and nobody's breaking through an extra 400 physical damage shield. This is going to be crazy. So Grims and Lucidity are 20 ability haste, 45 movement speed, 20 summoner haste, and then empowering or protecting allies, dealing damage to enemy champions with abilities, or casting a summer spell gets 10% move speed. So this has changed in that it used to only work empowering and protecting allies with abilities for the haste, but now it's dealing damage. So this is like a mini phase rush in some way, if you can think about it like that. Like 10% movement speed is a lot. You don't get the slow resist, of course, but this is a big spike, and champions do like this. Champions like Orianna and Ryze and your Cassiopeia. Well, Cassiopeia can't build boots, but you know what I mean? This is going to be good. Swift March. So this is 65 movement speed, and then reduce the effectiveness of slow by 40%, which I think it already did. And then 5% of your movement speed is adaptive force. Nobody's going to build this. This is useless for mid lane. Spellslinger's shoes are 18 magic pen, 8% magic pen, and 45 move speed. I believe these are the same. These boots are very good. Do not underestimate how powerful it is to get 8% magic pen on your boots. That's crazy. You get it for free and 18 magic pen. If you are playing a squishy champion and a mage walks up to you with Ludens, like imagine it's 14 minutes of the game, the mid laners finish their quest and they got Ludens and they have tier 2 boots, and they walk up to you and they have these stats with Ludens, you're dead. You're dead. You're not living it. So this is crazy. This is crazy. This is so OP to get for free. And then Gunmetal Greaves, it's 40% attack speed, life steal 5%, and movement speed 45. This is pretty insane. I think like this is kind of a low-key Azir nerf, but whatever, who cares? Lifesteal is pretty crazy, but I don't really know if ADCs besides Tristana go mid, and I don't think Tristana wants these boots anyway. Then we have the OP boots. We have the upgraded Ninja Chainlace Crushers. This is the Treads. So 30 magic resist, 45 movement speed, and then of course we have the 15-second cooldown, which is so low. And then after taking magic damage from a champion, gain a huge shield plus health for 5 seconds. Oh my god, it scales with health. Oh my god. If a mage has Roa and these boots, they're invulnerable. And then the same thing with Ninja Tabai, crazy shield. This is so crazy. Okay. There are only 4 boot choices in my opinion. I think Lucidity is really, really good for those champions who need to min-max their spacing. So, you know, again, the Oriannas, the Ryzes of the world. I think these Spellslinger shoes on mages are going to be nutty. You're going to see Zoe's and Syndra's one-shotting people at 15 minutes in the game like they've never done before, or like they used to do like 5 years ago. These are going to be crazy. These boots are useless. The Swift March are useless. And then these defensive boots are going to be super crazy for scaling mages. When you see the Vegars or like the Roa, Twisted Fate. Anyone who builds Roa is going to build boots like this. It scales with 10% health. You're going to be invulnerable. So I think this mid lane boots meta is going to be crazy, and every single mage is going to rush tier 2 boots now, of course, or every mid laner is going to rush tier 2 boots, of course. And then the backs are nice. The empowered recall is nice. And I do think roaming is punished, so I think this is going to be very much a lane focused meta and like a lane bully focused meta. So you're going to see your champions who are like really, really strong in lane pushing, sitting at the tower, pushing, and it's going to be pretty crazy. I don't think there's going to be like the, I don't know how I feel about like the Tristana mids of the world, even though they can push in a lot. I don't know, but we'll see. I think mid is going to be crazy. All right, bot lane. We're doubling down on bot laners as the game's defining gold income carries. Bot laners progress their quests more from killing minions than other positions and are rewarded with some upfront gold, increased gold income for the rest of the game, and the ability to move their boots into the role quest slot, which is crazy. Freeing up an inventory slot for more component items or even a fully completed 6th item as the game goes long enough. So gold and experience are reduced by 25% outside of bot lane. So again, this is what they're doing to address early roams and like lane swaps and stuff, at least until level 3, which whatever, they're still going to find a way to abuse it, but let's see. So 1350, so bot lane and mid lane have slow quest completion compared to top, and then you get 1.5 for minion kill, 3 in bot lane, which is more than other lanes. It's 1 and 2, and then 30 per epic monster. This is all the same. 15 per champion takedown, which is lower than mid lane, which was 25, and then starting at 105 you're getting the same gold or quest progress per second. And remember, the game starts at earlier now, so this is when minions get to lane at 105. So okay, so it's the same as mid lane pretty much, and then you get 300 gold, which is whatever, it's not that crazy. 2 gold per minion kill for the rest of the game, which is crazy. 50 gold per champion takedown for the rest of the game, which is nice. And then boots move to the role class, opening up a 7th item slot. So I do really like this. I think this is underrated. And I do hear that a lot of people are talking about mages bot lane, but I don't think this benefits mages bot lane as much as it benefits everyone else. I think mages are still going to be bot lane because mages bot lane are just meta right now, and people haven't figured out how to play against them because they're stupid. For informationally, if you go against a mage bot lane, take teleport and you pretty much just win the lane because you just teleport and they can't kill you. But I think this is going to benefit ADCs a lot. I think ADCs with 7 items are so much stronger than people give them credit for. Like it's so strong, like, because you get your 4 crit items, right? And then not only do you get your lifesteal item, but you get GA, you get QSS, like you get to be so powerful. I really think bot lane is gonna love this. I think this is exactly what ADCs want. It's more gold, more scaling. It means that they actually get to have the late game fantasy that they want. They can get Blade of the Ruined King, like it's so good. I really, really like this. I don't know how frequently it's gonna happen. And again, this is a scaling quest, so you do get a lot of gold up front. You are getting your 300 gold and then extra gold here, but it is a scaling quest, so we need to remember it's a scaling quest, but it's good. And then my favorite one, support. The support quest is already very fulfilling and functional, and as they say, if it doesn't broke, don't fix it. This isn't what they say. That said, we did want to take this opportunity to localize the role quest to bot lane, similar to the other quests, while also adding a few quality of life upgrades to the quest. Gone are the days of having to sacrifice one of your item slots for control wards. Now is the true time for laners and junglers to fear the potential of a 6th item support. So golden experience from minion kills from the support quest is reduced outside of lane, and then all of the quests are giving you more gold per 10. What in the world? They're doubling support gold? What in the world? And then after quest completion, control words cost 40 gold and you could store up to 2 in your role quest slot. That's what in the world? Okay, support quest is by far the best. I'm telling you, support quest is so broken. Okay, no, mid is still the best, but this is so good. Oh my gosh, I really think this is so good. I can't tell you how many games I'm playing support. Like I'm playing Soraka, right? I'm playing Soraka and my build is boots, redemption. It's boots, redemption, moonstone, warding item, heal cut because I need to get it for whatever reason, because I'm laning against some healer or whatever and nobody else is getting it, and then pink ward. And I'm sitting there like, I don't get to build anything else. My game is done because that's all you get to build. And it's so lame because it's kind of easy to get 2 items on support, but you really want to have that power spike. You really want to have the option of like, do I go Mikhail's? Do I go Dawnbring or whatever that item's called? Like, what am I going? And it's, I don't know, like, it's just, this is so nice. So not only do you get to have a slot for pink wards, not only are pink wards cheaper, half the price almost, which are great changes, but you get the extra item slot. I love this. Oh my God. And you're doubling the gold that we make. Doubling the gold that you make. This is so good. This is such a good change. I really like this. Now that I've read this, I would say mid and support are probably the best quests. I think mid is a little better than support. I think jungle quest is really good too because of the 8% movement speed out of combat. I really think that's a little too much. I wasn't expecting it to be that high. And they've reduced the amount of jungle pets required to get that quest done, which is interesting. And then I think the AD and top quest are kind of equal. They're both like scaling quests. I think the best part of the top lane quest is the teleport shield you're gonna get. I think getting a 30% health shield for most of the bruisers that play top lane or like any of the tanks is gonna be crazy. It's nutty. And free teleport for ignite laners is nice, but it's not like crazy. It's 7-minute cooldown. And level 20, I really don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But what is a big deal is top laners getting to level 16 faster because their XP has been increased by 12.5%, which is a big deal. So I do think everyone got it good, right? I don't think anyone got a bad quest. I just think like everyone is getting their power fantasy, right? Top laners are going to be stronger. Junglers are going to be able to gank more. Mid laners are just going to be OP as fuck, as they always are. ADCs are scaling like crazy bot lane, and I think they're going to be strong. And then supports get to actually build items and get gold, which, period. Like, I want that. Finally. Yay! Looks like the movement speed is restricted to jungle and river by the wording. It is, but that's where junglers are 24/7. The reason it's so good, Darius, is because like by the time the jungler shows up in lane, like when you see that jungler show up in your lane, the gank is already happening. So you don't need the move speed anymore. You need the move speed to get into position. Once you're in position, the gank has already happened. So you don't need the move speed anymore. It's just about getting there as fast as possible. Atakhan, Blood Roses, Feats, and Kills. With the new season, we're waving goodbye to Atakhan, thank God, Blood Roses, Sad Face, and Feats of Strength. These 3 features combined to make Summer's Rift 2025 unique, but Atakhan's story has come to an end, and ultimately these features weren't having a positive enough effect on the game for us to be confident to keep them in the game long term. Not to mention many of you letting us know that these weren't features you were fans of. Atakhan in particular contributed to an extremely objective-focused game that tended to narrow the possibilities of what a Summoner's Rift can be. Ultimately, these 3 features were increasing the complexity without providing enough value, so they've been removed to make room for new features. And since we removed Feats of Strength, First Blood, and the first turret destroyed once again grant gold. Okay, so that's nice. I think we haven't gotten here yet, but I think the First Blood granting gold is okay with the new accelerated game start time, because it's going to be like impossible to run out, cheese somebody, get the kill with 400 gold, reset, get a longsword, and go to lane. So, because the game starts 30 seconds earlier. So I think this is a good change. I don't mind First Blood gold being high again, and I don't mind First Turret gold being high again. You should get rewarded for winning early. I like that. We are also reducing the value of frequently killed champions, but letting them re-earn their way back to full value faster. We're happy with the current level of snowballing in the game, and since many of the new mechanics have a strong chance of increasing snowballing, we want to combat that increase. We also be happy with teams changing their ganking strategy. Right now, it's optimal to continue picking on the same lane over and over again, as the risk of doing so plummets the farther ahead one side gets. By reducing the value of repeated kills, players are nudged towards ganking other lanes to extract the most gold from the play. So feats are removed, First Blood and First Turret get 100 gold. Oh, if First Blood's 100 gold, First Turret's plus 300 gold. That's a huge spike. Atakhan's been removed, thank God. Blood Roses have been removed from the game. Sad face, I did like Blood Roses. Base gold, kill gold, devaluation of 1 gold given on death is doubled. For example, dying and giving away 300 gold will now reduce your base gold value by 75. And then base kill gold reevaluation per 1 gold earned is doubled as well. So this is interesting. Right now, pretty much the best thing you can do is always stay on the side of your winning laner, and that is the meta, and they're trying to change that. I don't know how that's gonna work or if that feels good, but we'll see. But I do like first blood and first turret also being valuable again. I think that's cool. Epic objective tuning. Our pass on epic monsters for this season is intended to make them more contestable, empowering junglers to do better solo objectives, making them more sustainable and tunable, and ultimately more consistent to interact with. Interesting. We want to increase the risk incurred when taking epic monsters, bringing it closer to the danger level of pushing for turrets. To do this, we're making these epic monsters more resistant to physical and magical damage, which means a team will take anywhere from 10 to 30% longer to kill them. In the case of late game elemental drakes, they are being slowed even further. Claiming Dragon Soul is just as impactful as taking Baron Nashor, so we want the time commitment for doing so to be comparable. Because true damage sources such as the Jungle Pet and Smite are unaffected, junglers who solo these objectives won't be nearly as penalized, which means playing for lane priority in order to give your jungler cover is comparatively more powerful. Most epic monsters also no longer reward simply being around it when it dies, meaning laners can continue to focus on lane control. Interesting. The increase in resistances and a small buff to Smite also protect junglers from some non-jungler objective steals. Yeah, I like that. Junglers are already under a lot of pressure to perform around these objectives, and that level of stress can burn a lot of players out, so we're making this specific portion of jungle gameplay more forgiving. I appreciate that. It is so stressful. We've also done a pass on epic monster rewards, aiming to make most of them give roughly as much gold and twice as much experience as the typical jungle camp. That's crazy. Which we think is a fair reward for camps that mostly just cost time. For the game-ending objectives, namely Elder Dragon and Baron, we're substantially curtailing their gold rewards, choosing instead to retain their emphasis on buff power and experience. Okay, that sounds good. The experience value of these epic monsters is remaining high, and we're refactoring their comeback experience mechanics in order to make them strong turning points for mounting a comeback for the losing team. The buff power is remaining because they should be strong, time-limited moments that meaningfully change how each game plays out. Agreed. In the past, epic monsters had inconsistent scaling, with some caring about game time, some caring about level, and some having a mix of factors. We've rebuilt all epic monster scaling to have base stats and level ups similar to how champions do. Each epic monster has a minimum level that's aligned with a typical game, but ensures outliers aren't too squishy. They've all been given the same underlying armor and magic resist growth, which roughly mirrors what champion versus champion combat feels like, and should scale appropriately for champions of any damage type. These changes have the added benefit of making experiences like multiplayer practice tool more productive, as the level 15 Baron teamfight will always behave like a level 15 Baron teamfight regardless of how many minutes into the game you are. Okay, wow, that's a big wall of text. Interesting. I think the best thing about this is the increase in experience to junglers killing monster or epic monsters. I think it's really, really nice. I think it's a good quality of life thing to say, like, oh, you spent so much time not clearing your jungle and cycling your camps, you're getting a big reward, you're getting experience. I think that's cool. Obviously the jungle or dragon buffs and like grub buffs are good as well, but the experience really helps out. It makes you feel less bad about doing it. I like overall making them more tanky. I like the direction they're going with the scaling. I think this is a smart change to jungle monsters. I also love that I got Smite buffed. It should be buffed. I'm so sick of people stealing it from me. So let's see specifically what they did. All right, elemental drakes. Elemental drakes will have up to 35% more effective HP. Oh my god. Increase further for teams who approach Dragon Soul, as the Dragon Vengeance mechanic that gives them damage reduction has been buffed, causing super late game soul takes to last about twice as long. We're picking Dragon Vengeance for the primary buff here because we want losing teams to have a fair shot at taking a low value elemental drake, but we want Dragon Soul to be strongly contestable. Drakes don't deal very much damage, which is an intended part of their combat. Okay. Their local rewards are going up this season. Unlike most other epic monsters, we want to make sure that junglers feel appropriately rewarded for skipping out on a camp or two to take the team-wide objective, so we're ensuring they're properly compensated in gold and experience for taking risks on behalf of their teams. We've also simplified and buffed all dragon comeback mechanics, experience mechanic, which rewards underleveled champions on the losing team. So, okay, these are just a bunch of stats essentially telling you that dragons are tankier, and there's a whole dragon vengeance buff that the more times you've killed a dragon, the tankier it is. Great. I think this is cool. A common thing that you'll see as a aggressive jungler is like, so the first dragon spawns at 4 minutes or 5 minutes, I don't know. And you'll see a lot of times like a champion who's really strong, like Udyr early game, or like Kha'Zix, or someone who's good at taking dragon, Shyvana, and good duelers will full clear their jungle twice and then go do dragon on spawn. And what they will do is they'll set up their jungle by starting topside and farming down to make sure they do that, and they'll finish dragon after that. And what a lot of champions who don't farm as fast or who are more gank heavy do is they'll start bottom so they don't get invaded, and they'll clear up. But a lot of, like, sometimes you want to contest the dragon and leave your topside up, or you want to take dragon and leave your topside up, and the enemy will take your topside while you are doing dragon, and you will be less punished now for doing the dragon and getting counter jungled in your topside, which I think is fair. You should be rewarded. There should be a good trade-off for doing dragon, but it shouldn't be experience. It should be gold. You choose to get a team-wide buff, you maintain your experience level, but you're behind on gold compared to the person who's farming. I like that. I also think Dragon Vengeance is cool. This is a good mechanic to make it so that the later game dragons do actually feel like later game fights. All right, Elder Dragon already scaled its durability with level, but we're cleaning up the functionality of it. Like with Baron later on, its overall gold value is going down while the experience value is being placed entirely into team-wide global XP and ensuring it's amplified by the monster's comeback experience for weaker players. Ultimately, Elder Dragon will have 20% more effective HP, but should otherwise feel similar. And the minimum level change shouldn't mean much. Okay, cool. So they're making it tankier. Grubs. This is the first time they're mentioning grubs. Void grubs have generally been an epic monster camp that's more about getting yourself ahead and rewarding the whole team for running over to assist in the takedown. With this season's increased focus on pushing turrets, we think the buff already rewards that playstyle strongly, but we want to reduce the pressure on having whole teams roam up for grubs. We want to make it easier for laners to run over to take a single void grub and then leave back to their lane. To accomplish these goals, we're concentrating the gold reward purely on the killer of each monster and returning the reward to be more in line with our goals for camps like these. We're also reducing the camp's damage in order to make them less scary for non-junglers to engage with. As with most other epic monsters, their durability is increasing as well. As point of clarification, the changes to void mites only affect the monster camp version and have no impact on the reward mites summoned from taking down the camp. Interestingly, something to think about is void grubs spawn at 7 or 8 minutes, I think, and you are not going to have your quest finished at 7 or 8 minutes. And so for my mid laners and top laners who like to collapse on these fights, you are going to be losing out on a lot of quest progress by contributing to the Void Grub fight. I know that you get plus 25 or plus 30 quest progress for getting a takedown on an epic monster, but you are going to be losing out on your 8 per second. You're going to be losing out on your turret pushing. You're going to be losing out on your damage. You're going to be losing out on your last hitting. This is a big change. I do think like the support roaming up is going to be different. You know what I mean? Like everything is going to be different for this. I don't know how important it is going to be to contest this, but I do think that the Void Grub pushing passive is going to be super strong this season. So maybe everyone will still come for it. Who knows? Rift Herald is a valuable objective due to its ability to knock down turrets. So we're actually increasing its unique reward a small amount while removing an odd optimization around delaying its summon in order to squeak out a level up and thus get more damage from the Rift Herald Mercenaries change. We're making the eye mechanic more soloable by moving it to a simple cooldown that junglers can more easily claim by themselves. We're also changing its rewards to match our goals, especially by reducing the amount of local gold it gives nearby champions and instead rewarding the killer an appropriate amount. As with other epic monsters, its effective health has also increased. Interesting. They did make a change to have more champions make the eye spawn faster this season in order to incentivize your team to come to it, and it looks like they're doing the opposite this season of not wanting team fights at every objective. So they're saying you can solo it actually. This is fine. The tankiness is changing. I'm not reading all this. Well, I don't care that seriously. The important thing is that the eye cooldown is 6 seconds and it's always spawning. And yeah, interesting. This will probably be around when a lot of champions are finishing their role quest or about to finish it. So this might be a fight. It seems like everything else about it is the same. Atakhan is removed, thank God, and Baron is receiving a similar treatment to Elder, reducing its overall gold reward and ensuring the experience is impactful to driving these exciting moments where clutch objective steals lead into a teamfight comeback. We're preserving its buff power as a meaningful game ender though, and we've also done a tuning pass on Baron's various abilities to ensure they're not weaker than his regular attacks, so he lives up to his raid boss aura. His shred is also being empowered to consistently weaken all enemies around him, making the fight more lethal than before when an enemy team comes to contest. You thought pro teams were done throwing the game? Think again. Ultimately, Baron will be more durable than before and slightly more threatening as his abilities will more accurately scale across the game. Okay, so there is a huge thing that they have revealed in this paragraph that I don't think anyone was talking about before, and it hasn't been mentioned before, but they are adding the Atakhan shred mechanic to Baron, and that is a big deal because doing Atakhan as an objective was good. But what was a problem was that instead of just tanking it forever like you usually do an objective while you like kind of dance looking for a fight, you were getting shredded and your tanks were losing all their armor and MR and your supports are losing all their armor and MR and your ADC is, and all of a sudden you lose the fight. They're adding this to Baron. With this sentence right here, his shred is being empowered to consistently weaken all enemies around him. That means that it's going to be really hard to do the dance of sitting at Baron and keeping it at 4k health and being like, come fight us, come fight us, come fight us, because the enemy team's going to be like, just let them get weaker and then we'll fight them. That's scary. They're also pushing the spawn timer up 5 minutes because Atakhan is gone. I like this. This will also mean games are faster. There are all these stats that I'm not reading. But anyway, cool. Jungle adjustments. So let's see. For me, what's changing? Buff camps. We're removing the global red and blue buffs that were available after 25 minutes for a few reasons. Interesting. First, we think these buffs should be meaningful. Yep. And giving them out globally makes them less special than when you get one, since these buffs aren't very impactful if they're given out to 5 champions at a time. It also made it harder to appreciate the reward since it could often show up without any effort to you. We prefer the version where someone intentionally walks over to pick it up. Cool. That's a huge change. Second, we think the overall power of these camps got too high with so many buffs given out, and considering this season's emphasis on pushing for the enemy base over taking jungle monsters, reducing the power of team buffs was a straightforward decision. This also means as a jungler, you're less likely to face off against an enemy who's wearing matching buffs, giving junglers a little more late game combat agency. So Baron spawn no longer corrupts red and blue buff, which makes their buffs global. Cool. Red buff regen is buffed. Oh no, it's kind of nerfed. Okay, so it's nerfed. Okay, so now it's nerfed. Okay, that's interesting. Red buff melee slow is buffed. Why would they do that? Why would they have the regen change to levels 1, 4, 6, 11, but then have the melee slow change to 1, 4, 6 or whatever levels these are, because it's unclear. That is very silly. And then the burn is buffed early. Okay. Burn now displays its cumulative damage. That's cool. Red blue buff tool buff. Okay, cool. So I like this. I think this is a good change. I think they kind of like recognized it properly or described it properly that buffs kind of were meaningless late game. You kind of just did the buff, or a lot of times I just told my team, I'm like, go do it. Like, who cares? Just go do it. Like, whatever. So this is a nice change. It'll make it more impactful and also be more important to be like, oh my god, the ADC has red buff. Oh my god, the mage has blue buff right now. Be careful. Cool. Jungle rules. Our jungle changes this season are aimed at slowing down their early clears in order to give more room for lanes to play out the early games without as much intervention. Oh. We're also reshaping the feel of early clears by giving junglers substantial damage reduction to help... What? Substantial damage reduction to help novice players have a more comfortable time when clearing their jungle and compensating the amount of health they get back to achieve fairly similar health for experienced players who kite camps well. What? Junglers will also be a little better at killing epic monsters as their pets will contribute more DPS regardless of class and build, and their smite will be more powerful compared to spells like Lux and Jinx's ultimates. That's so funny. I've mentioned that twice already. Additionally, the overall mid-late game jungle gold and experience income is going up a little through a combination of a more valuable Rift Scuttler and an increased gold and experience from the more quickly completed jungle quest. Okay, so monster damage app is down to 10%. Smite is up. Junglers take 50% damage from non-epic monsters. Are you serious? Are you serious? What on the world is that? Maximum heal on kill is way up. 81 to plus 13.5 per level to max. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. It's not way up. It's a little bit up. Minimum heal on kill is up. Okay, this isn't as big of a change as I thought, but the jungler damage is crazy. And now restores 15 energy, whatever. The pet heal per second is down. Interesting. The pet base DPS is up a lot, scales a ton. Base pet DPS against epic monsters is up a ton. Oh my gosh. Scuttle Crab no longer spawns at -1 level, thus increasing its XP and gold. Cool. Kills required for the first evolution is 15. Wow. And jungle roll cross completion's down. Wow. What in the world? What are they thinking? So this has got to be one of the worst changes I've ever seen. What are they thinking? Jungle takes 15% damage from non-epic monsters? I mean, we have champions full clearing the jungle at 3 minutes and 10 seconds with a smite up and full health. What do you mean junglers are taking 50% damage? Like, that's outrageous. What? This is outrageous. This is ridiculous. I mean, I full clear, full health on every champion, even Teemo's full health. Like, what in the world is this change? Oh, I do not understand that. The heal change is fine. The pet DPS on epic monsters is really nice, actually, I think. And so is the scuttle change. I think the evolution of your smite is also cool because you can get it now on the earlier, like a minute earlier. And you're guaranteed to have it for grubs. I don't know, but also I don't even know how I feel about this because it was kind of a skill to have your smite evolved at the grubs fight. Like, it made a big difference if you farmed efficiently enough to have your smite evolved at the grubs fight. And a lot of times I would fight junglers who aggressively ganked and they would just have 600 smite and I'd have 900 smite. And I would just win grub fight because of that. But now everyone's gonna have 1000 smite, which I feel is dumb. So I don't really like this kills required for first evolution change. And I hate this jungle change. What in the world? This is, what? I really, really don't like this 50% damage from non-epic monsters. That's crazy. So what, I'm gonna jungle, like, I can just jungle? Why wouldn't I just jungle like Kaisa? Like, why would I ever, what? I could just jungle anyone. Like, let me play Zeri jungle. Let me, you know what I mean? Like, the only reason, what? Like, I could just play anyone jungle and take no damage. This is so interesting in a way I don't like. I don't know what to say. Faelights and vision changes. Faelights are a new map feature we're introducing to improve the vision system. They appear as rings of glowing mushrooms on the ground, and some present at game start, and some upon the elemental rift transformation. When you place a ward on the ring, it will temporarily reveal a nearby area on the map, which is not revealed to enemies unless they use a detector effect or ping the ward directly. These were designed with a few goals in mind. First, we want wards to be more usable for enabling players like a split push, even if the support isn't nearby to provide multiple wards, especially when coupled with Scryer's Bloom. This is a major motivator for the powerful Faelight spots that spawn near side lanes after elemental rift transformation. It's also why the bonus vision regions are long enough to make a play, but not long enough to dominate vision. Okay. So split push buffing. Second, we want the vision game to be more approachable while still rewarding good decision making and strategic skill, particularly as the game moves past lane phase. This is why the island brush locations near side lanes are simple, feels good spots to ward during lane phase, while the areas towards the center of the map are sparser and less powerful. Okay, I like that. It's also why the system still forces you to make strategic decisions about when and how to use limited ward trinket resources rather than resembling a plant or a hex gate, including for playing against as asymmetric information is. Okay, cool. Third, we want to ensure the vision system has interesting mechanics to promote healthy new vision dynamics. Okay, this is why each location has its own tuning levers, like location, elemental rift delay, bonus vision shape size, and the location and frequency of nearby Scryer's Blooms. Interesting. These enable Faelights like those at base gates, which can be useful for offensive plays, but are designed to be easier than average for a losing team to retake and use to recover after being pushed in. Okay. So it seems like these vision systems are better. These are like comeback mechanics. You know what I mean? These enable, like the split pushing one enables aggressive play, but it seems like a lot of them are for comeback mechanics in order to gain vision in an area that normally you would really struggle to gain vision in. Interesting. Finally, the vision system has historically been hard to understand and low satisfaction, so we're keen on vision mechanics that feel visceral, alive, and aesthetically pleasing on the map rather than being a sub-component of an item or UI component. This informed the natural magic, visual motifs, and punchy particle effects. Okay. So yeah, it's for beginners to know where to ward and to tell them place a ward here now. Cool. So placing a ward of any type on a Faelight makes the ward a Faelight super ward, applying the following effects. 25% vision radius to the ward, that's crazy. That's going to be so hard to get used to. Oh my gosh, that's huge. Reveals a bonus vision region for 45 seconds. The bonus vision region shape is specific to the Faelight. The particles are only visible to your team. The region is not affected by the type of ward placed. The duration is represented by a countdown circle. The bonus vision region can see into bush if the brush is in the region shape. Enemies will know they're in the bonus region while their team has a detector or sweeper. Enemies will know that they're in the bonus region if their team has ping tracked the ward. All Faelight super ward buffs are suppressed while the ward has near sight. Okay, that's interesting. And if your team already has a ward in the Faelight, that ward will be destroyed to make room for the new one. And for the sake of vision score, the ward is 25. Okay, who cares about that? So Faelight locations are one at H base gate, one in the island bush near top and bot, in the river wall near mid, okay, in the banana bushes, and then after the elemental rift transformation, the side lane quadrants. Okay, that's not so crazy. Interesting. And then I wonder how many they're going to be and how long they'll stay there. And if you use it, do they respawn? That's something that's not clear. Other vision changes. Faelight's goals are meant to be delivered by, also like if I claim it, can the enemy claim it? You know? Alright, Faelight's goals are meant to be delivered by a mix of Faelights themselves and other vision changes. So first we're buffing the cooldown of Yellow Trinket so non-sports are more readily able to access vision to make plays. Wow, Teemo buff. Nobody's taking sweeper. Likewise, we're also buffing the duration of Red Trinket so those trying to bypass clear enemy vision are more able to do so. Never mind, Teemo nerf. Alright. Additionally, we're adding more Scrymer bloom locations and speeding up their respawn times. This is meant to enable the I have vision tools to make plays goal of Faelights, as well as increase access to ward clearing. Scrymer's bloom is the blue plant, right? So stealth ward trinket cooldown is down a lot. Oh my gosh. Oracle Lens duration is up by 2 seconds. That's crazy. Scryer's bloom default respawn time is also down a lot. Oh my gosh. And then at 15 minutes, new Scryer's bloom locations become available, one at each river coast near the side lanes. What? One behind each side lane. What? One near the rocks in base. What? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Wow. Wow. It's going to be so much easier to get vision. Oh my God. I don't know how I feel about that. I think like pretty much one of the best tools you have like when you're ahead mid game is vision denial. And Faelights are one thing, but all these Scryer plants are really going to make it more difficult to set up like bush camp plays or like zoning someone out of their jungle. Like it's going to be much more consistent to get vision, but much more consistently possible to get vision in your jungle and react to these sorts of plays. Interesting. We'll see how this plays out. All right, and then Homeguards. We're returning Homeguard to be general. We're retuning Homeguards to be generally faster. I hate this. Reducing dead time in the game flow and enabling proactive plays more often, especially later in the game. You'll now be able to keep your Homeguard until you reach the action, your outermost turn and lane of the minion wave. This is crazy. This combined with the empowered recall of mid lane is crazy. I don't like this. Homeguard no longer has a duration. I don't like this. Homeguard is now removed after reaching the endpoint. Sure. Homeguard will always take you at least to just before your outermost living turret. Homeguard will always take you at least your inhibitor in your base. After 14 minutes or after at least one turret on either team has been destroyed in a given lane, Homeguard will track the furthest minion in the lane, ending approximately 2,000 units before. Wow. Before 14 minutes, Homeguard grants 80% movement speed, ramping down to 40%. After 14 minutes, Homeguard grants 150% movement speed, ramping down. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. This is so crazy. What in the world? What? Oh my God, early game deaths are going to be meaningless now. So on one hand, they're trying to make it so like you can snowball a little bit better by making like aggressive plays in lane stronger. But on the other hand, like if you kill somebody, they're going to be back. If you kill somebody at like level 2, they're going to be back in lane before you can shove the wave. It's going to be a misplay to kill somebody. I already sometimes joke about how it's a misplay to kill somebody. Like if you're playing, like let's say you're playing a a single target champion with no wave clear, like I can't think of a good example at this moment, but like, you know, let's say you're playing Morgana, right? And you kill somebody and your W has a 10-second cooldown and you're sitting there like, I gotta push this wave. You can't push the wave and you're gonna be stuck in lane with a bad lane state and you're gonna be like, oh my God, like I have to push this in. But the enemy laner is gonna show up to lane so much more quickly with Homeguards without even TPing. And then your lane's gonna be effed and it's gonna be hard. That's, I don't know. Interesting. In a bad way. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. All right, Crystalline Overgrowth. This is interesting. Crystalline Overgrowth. In this season, we want to encourage a wider variety of strategic play. In particular, we're interested in making lane pushes better in situations outside of Baron buff. Part of this is addressing the reward incentives, but another part is addressing the actual ability to make damage progress on turrets. Even if turrets are worth more, there are many situations where you just don't have time or DPS needed to make meaningful turret progress. Crystalline Overgrowth is a new mechanic on lane turrets to enable that damage progress, essentially saying, what if every champ had accessible demolish-like tools to enable small pushes? Over the course of several minutes, crystals will begin automatically building up on turrets. When a champion hits that turret, the overgrowth will burst, dealing bonus true damage based on how much overgrowth has accumulated. It's not based on the attacker's stats, nor do they need to stay near the turret for long. The tuning here is meant to be useful whether you're pushing fairly frequently or only hit turrets a couple times per game. We want this to be a mechanic that most champs feel empowered to use in most games, not something that's only useful for perma pushers or only useful for comebacks. So targetable lane turrets are now subject to this, so it's only on the most outer one. Crystalline Overgrowth will appear after a 90-second startup. Cool. And the turrets will take true damage the next time they attack it. It'll stay at its minimum stage for 60 seconds and scale linearly for 240 seconds. Okay. At damage the damage is based on the average level of the attacking team. At level 1, it's 2 to 3%. Okay. And at 18, it's 8 to 20%, or 9 to 20%. Okay, not too crazy. And okay, Crystalline Overgrowth will not proc from attacks while the turret has backdoor protection. Okay, and if an enemy unit's near the turret at the 90-second mark when it would become active, Crystalline Overgrowth will be suppressed. Interesting. So maybe timing it will be important. Once enemies are gone, the Overgrowth will then be applied and it will fast forward. Interesting. Okay. And then Demolish. Given that Overgrowth occupies a lot of the same space as Demolish, we felt Demolish needed to be simplified. We want Demolish to be a satisfying and useful rune that users that already like it. To users that already like it, and we'll be keeping an eye on how this feels with the Overgrowth mechanic and make any changes needed. So Demolish, charge up a powerful attack, is now 3rd attack against a tower, and it's a 30-second cooldown. And then it got nerfed for range. Oh, that sucks. Well, this is a big nerf to tanks. Interesting. Demolish was very good for some tanks because they would just do the dance around the turret and then they'd walk up auto at once, walk away. A lot of champions struggle to get 3 autos off on a tower, especially if the enemy has any form of like taunting CC or anything like that, right? Like if you're trying to, if you have a Shen under his tower and you want to proc Demolish and you're a melee champion, you're not procking Demolish, you're not autoing that tower 3 times. A lot of times you would like walk back and forth and like try to bait out the ability, but now you have to auto it 3 times. That's a big change. This will be a range champion buff. This will be a Teemo buff for like top lane. Ranged top laners are now going to love taking Demolish because it's much easier for them to get 3 autos off. Interesting. And then I think the Crystalline Overgrowth changes are nice. I like the idea of buffing split pushing. Right now, if you ask me, I would say about less than 5% of my games have active split pushing as a strategy. Very few. And even in games where I have the Illaoi, I have the Fiora, I have the Yorick, like the split pushing champion is there. A lot of times they're still grouping for objectives. They are not doing the split pushing that they want to do. So I think this is cool. I think split pushing should be a valid strategy in the game and it should be difficult to deal with and you should be rewarded for picking a champion that thrives in a 1v1 and the enemy team should have to react. So I think this is cool. All right, perhaps one of my favorite changes of this season. Game start time. I am a jungle player. I despise level 1 invades. If you come into my jungle at level 1, I hate you. Stop coming into my jungle. Stop forcing me to leave. Stop blowing my flash. I hate you. This is changing forever, okay, Flops? You're done. I'm mad. All right, game start time. We're trimming some mostly wasted time at the start of every game and getting you into the action faster instead of just waiting around for your minions to get to work. If you're a fan of invades, don't worry. With the Homeguard changes pushing everyone out faster, it's still possible to invade even with this faster earlier time. Boo! So the game minion start time is 30 seconds instead of 1 minute 5 seconds. That's crazy. 35 seconds earlier. That's so good. And then all the buffs spawn at 55 seconds. Oh my god, this is so crazy. And then the other ones spawn at 107. Wait, that's crazy. Usually they, oh wait, that's okay, that's 12 seconds later, never mind. Wow. So Scuttle now spawns 35 seconds earlier, just like minion spawn time. Okay, it should all be fine. Baron's 5 minutes earlier. Epic monsters spawn times are unchanged. Ambient gold start time 65. Most miscellaneous start of game rewards are 35 seconds earlier. Remake eligibility is earlier. Early surrender is earlier. Okay, really interesting. So some important things to note are early invades are going to be nerfed, which I love. It's going to be more risky to do an early invade. Of course, if you have the Blitzcrank on your team, you could run into the jungle, look for a pick, and then back and go do whatever. But what's going to be nerfed is like that dance that you sometimes do of like, oh, me and the jungler are staring at each other in the river, and everyone from bot lane starts walking up, and everyone starts like slowly gathering. That's not going to happen anymore because there's just no time. If you start walking up, the minions are spawning, like you don't have time. So I do think that this is going to nerf invades and turn invades into a more coordinated strategy rather than just randomly happening like every 3 games, which is what it feels like it's happening with. I also think very notable is the change to jungle timers. So obviously Scuttle's the same, but what I mean is like the 35-second bump back is 35 extra seconds that junglers have to clear and add into their mind before objective spawns. Where earlier I was talking about how some junglers are full clearing twice and then doing dragon, or only doing 1.5 full clears and then doing dragon. And now with an extra 35 seconds, I think every champion will have the opportunity to full clear twice and then do dragon, or be in position for it. And in fact, you might even be able to hit level 6 before dragon spawns, which is insane to think about. Like first dragon, you might, as a jungler, because of the extra 30 seconds, like let's say you double scuttle someone, you might hit level 6 as dragon spawns, which like is nutty. I don't know. This is going to be really interesting to play around with. All right. Oh my gosh, there's so much. Turrets. We have a lot of changes to turrets coming this patch beyond the new Crystalline Overgrowth mechanic. The headlining feature is that all turrets now have turret plates. Interesting. Rewarding champions for partial success when sieging the enemy base and incentivizing smaller incremental pushes, so overtaking a whole turret down in one fell swoop. The total gold from the turrets isn't changing much, as the total local gold has been mostly shifted into the individual turret plates. Cool. So big change for split pushers mostly. This is also a great comeback mechanic. When you fall behind as an ADC, it'll be really, really nice to get a little bit of gold as the enemy ADC is doing other stuff on the map. This is also a roam punishing mechanic. This is good. As these mechanics are pervasive and live on the turret forever, we've oversimplified several rules and removed the 3D visualization of turret plates themselves. Instead, the segmented health bar will show how far you are from your next gold payout. We've also made various turret plate rules more apparent, improving the visual effects of the short duration bulwark resist that turrets get when a plate's claimed. We're doing a tuning phase on overall durability and damage, keeping outer turrets from scaling quite so far into the game, making mid-game turret takes a little less risky. Cool. Turret health, oh, actually, I don't know how I feel about that. Turret health is overall increasing a little to make room for the new Crystalline Overgrowth mechanic. I don't know how I feel about this. We still like several of the mechanics that turret plates afforded, namely that outer turrets start very durable but become squishier after the laning phase winds down, and that melee champions were rewarded for incurring extra risk when attacking turrets. I think that the turrets being like mid lane outer turret being a big objective is cool, and I think it was nice to have it be really difficult to siege. I liked that. I don't like this statement where they're saying that they are trying to make it safer to take them down, a little less risky. I think it should be risky. Turrets are an enormous objective. So I don't know. We'll see how that works out though. But the bulwark is now overlapping durations instead of refreshing. So I think I don't really know how to interpret that, but I think it makes it harder. Bulwark resist visualization updated. The turret plates take less damage from minions and range champions is now increased, so it's going to be harder for range champions to take towers, but not that much. Oh wait, so turret plates take 17% less damage from minions and ranged. Now that's removed, and turrets take more damage from melee. That's interesting. Okay, so it's just easier to do damage. And turret true sight range increased by 5. Why? Whatever. Outer turrets. The primary change for outer turrets is that the health bar has been changed to make it easier to understand how durable a turret really is. Instead of gaining permanent resist each time a turret plate drop, the health bar segments are simply different sizes, which is mathematically almost identical, but makes it easier to understand a turret's true durability at a glance. Though turret plates are now permanent, we like that outer turret durability changes over game time, becoming frailer as the game progresses, so its resistances and value drop in the mid game, rewarding players who could press their lead early on, but still leave a moderate amount of gold for those who never had early pressure. Cool. I like this change. So nearby players get gold, plates are permanent, resistances fall off with time, plate gold does not fall off with time. Oh, it does fall off with time. Plate thresholds are now awkward, but are the same thing, but they just want to communicate it better. No longer 50 permanent resists, interesting. And then the base resists are up, the health is up. Wow. Interesting. Well, this is gonna be an interesting change to outer turrets. It'll certainly feel different. I don't know that it will be very different, but it'll feel different based on the plate threshold and the health. Inner and inhibitor turrets, as mentioned above, tier 2 and tier 3 turrets are receiving turret plates in order to reward partial progress, which is great. Now crashing a minion wave and dealing a couple thousand damage will pay you for pushing up and incurring that risk. Combined with the more durable epic monsters, this should meaningfully push champions to care much more about pushing up and progressing toward destroying the enemy base. The rest of the math here is simply a consistency pass that sets all turrets to 60 armor and MR in order to make it easier to read each health bar. We're also removing some of their late game stat scaling to make sure pushing them remains a strong option. Cool. Well, this is, I mean, split pushers are going to be so happy. It's going to be much, much, much better to get a little bit of gold. And that feels good, you know? And then finally, Nexus turrets. Nexus turrets are a special case due to their unique location far inside the base, as they already have partial kill rewards due to their health regeneration mechanics. We're not doing much on the durability front. However, we are leaving them weaker on respawn, so that it's never an optimization to leave the turret at low health instead of actually destroying it. The respawning turrets are valuable in order to let a defending team eventually leave their base, but it shouldn't be wrong to kill them ever. Cool. So I like this mechanic a lot. I think the turret respawning mechanic was a really, really cool mechanic they added. And I also like that they're addressing the fact that killing the turret should be rewarded. I do like that. So I think these are cool. The Nexus towers will respawn with much less health. Cool. I like this. Good turret changes overall, I think. It's gonna be weird though. Durability patch 1, yeah. This, their intention tune is to shorten games overall. That is what they want to do. They have said that they want to shorten games, they want to speed things up, they want to get people to their power spikes earlier, and on top of getting to their power spikes earlier, they also want people to end the game more quickly. All right, minions. And they also want the game to feel more satisfying if it goes late. Minions. In order to create more windows for successful pushing, we're increasing the rate of minion wave spawns in the mid and late game, which is crazy. In order to not balloon the amount of golden experience given by these more frequent waves, we're pruning the occasional melee minion out of mid game and overall reducing the value of super minions and cannon minions. What is going on? We've also made cannons slightly stronger by increasing their attack damage over game time and clarifying that there are some special rules for them in particular. We've also cleaned up some experience calculations under the hood to make it easier to see how much value you're getting out of each minion. Early game breakpoints haven't changed here, but overall experience income is slightly higher. What? At 14 minutes, minion waves now spawn every 25 seconds? What? When a canyon spawns, one fewer melee spawns? At 30 minutes, minions spawn every 20 seconds and 1 fewer caster. Oh my gosh. And minion turret up, move speed up, first cannon wave is sooner, cannon AD is up, super minion AD is down, experience share is up, melee minion XP is down, melee minion gold is down, range minion gold is down, range minion XP is down, range minion gold is not down, just XP. Super cannon minion XP is down a lot, cannon minion gold is down, and super minion gold. What in the world is happening? Somebody needs a PhD to understand how this is going to impact the game. I mean, it'll mean games will probably be easier to end later on in the game because there's more minions, but I don't know what else. All right, and finally we've made it to the champions. Oh my god, I need to get some water. Chat, I'll BRB. Holy moly, how is there still more? I've been talking for like an hour and a half. What the freak is going on? This is the longest patch note of all time. 1 second. Let's get to champion changes, shall we? With every champion's base crit damage being increased back to 200%. What are they talking about? When was that changed even? All right, with every champion's base crit damage being increased back to 200% this season, we're making some preemptive balance changes to those who currently get at least 25% crit chance in the average game. Okay. So we want to move many of these champions toward auto attack scaling via their new and improved crit damage and away from ability scaling in order to make these ADCs shine as true auto attack carries and less like mages. This means we're usually nerfing ability damage through the AD ratio and or crit scaling ratio and as compensation for the impending increase in auto attack damage. Interesting. This is going to nerf short range ADCs. When handling critical strike damage in general, we're pushing every ability to scale as a portion of bonus crit strike damage. Interesting. Which we feel most consistently preserves the value of crit strikes for abilities that are very close to basic attacks and functionality. We try to preserve a high crit damage ratio, and the more spell-like the ability, the less it needs to scale with crit. Oil is loving his little nap. My baby. He's doing well. Cassiopeia. While Cassiopeia's no boots passive is very thematic, the addition of more boot-based systems over the years, like role quests, has made it feel like a punishment at times instead of a boon. We think it's important for Cassiopeia to have the opportunity to engage with these new systems, so we're reworking the passive into a new movement-based effect. So now her base movement speed is up by 7. Her passive is now, instead of movement speed, it's increased effectiveness of all movement speed buffs by 6 to 40%, which is very nice. Okay, and that's it. Okay, that's very nice. I think this will about feel the same because, like, you know, 6% of 335 is 18, maybe 19 movement speed, which is a little bit better early on, if my math is right. And it'll also be nice because of the movement speed you get from your Q. Maybe this is just overall a buff, but as a nerf, you have to spend money on boots. So it is a buff, but then it's also a nerf because you're just 1,200 gold behind. We like that Samira's R and Q are almost direct auto attack replacements and want to preserve as much of their crit damage as possible. However, with the value of crit going up, the value of AD then must go down. So her Q non-crit damage is gone down a seeing an ability have 0 damage is so funny to me. So it's down by 5, and the total AD scaling is up early, but very down late. And the crit damage is now 50% of bonus crit damage. So it is better early, but that doesn't matter because you don't have crit early. So interesting. And our Inferno trigger, the non-crit damage, is now up base, but the total AD ratio is down 15%, which is a lot. And then the R critical damage is 100% bonus crit damage, so it's up pretty much overall. Wow. So yeah, I think overall it's a little bit of a nerf for Samira, but a buff as she gets crit. When she gets crit, if she gets IE, she's gonna be so much stronger than before. Cool. Why did they start with Samira? Aphelios has a lot of intricacies, and a lot of his abilities try to behave exactly like basic attacks. With that in mind, we're converting Severim's attack to total attack damage in line with similar abilities, and generally lowering the base AD ratios of several abilities that already scale well due to firing off basic attacks that can crit as part of their cast. Okay, well, I don't have 200 years of experience, so I don't know everything about his weapons besides the base thing of what they do, so I don't care. I'm not reading this. Caitlyn's top end headshot damage has gotten out of hand. With the value of crit strikes going up, it's about to get even stronger. So we're taking a heavy swing to headshots top end, and we're also making our R scale with Infinity Edge. That's cool, as it's already scales with crit strike chance, but we're reducing its damage to make room for stronger basic attacks. Okay. So our headshot damage is going from, oh my god, a lot of total AD to 100% bonus crit damage. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's a nerf. And then her R is also a nerf. Okay, so they're just nerfing Caitlyn. Nice. I mean, Caitlyn needs a nerf. Tristana also needs a nerf. Tristana's E is one of the sharpest scaling abilities in the game, and considering her late game is already poised to be great with strong attack speed, steroid, long range, and lots of crit damage, we think the top end of her E can stand to go down a few pegs. So it is from 140% bonus AD to 80% bonus AD, but the base is up a little bit. So yeah, it's a big nerf. Nilah. Nilah's in an interesting place where her Q didn't scale with Infinity Edge, so unlocking that avenue marks a small power increase on top of her basic attacks getting better, so we sought to find other ways to slightly lower her late game scaling as compensation. Why? Attack speed goes down, and then Q active damage is base up eventually, and then the AD scaling is down, so that's a little bit of a nerf, but the crit scaling is increased if you get Infinity Edge, and the armor pen scaling is also down. So this is a nerf. I don't understand why. And then her mana cost is up. I don't understand why they're nerfing Nilah. I don't feel, I mean, like, this champion's strong, but nobody plays it, so I don't understand. I am happy with where she's at. This is odd to me. Jinx. We like the overall shape of how Jinx functions and generally just want to preserve the value of her minigun's high attack speed, so we're making sure her two stances are more distinguished from one another and are generally lowering a bit of the spell damage to keep her attack focused. Okay, so our attack speed growth is down, which will make her Q better, and then her R flat damage is down a good amount, and the bonus AD is also down. Okay, so this is just Jinx nerf. Okay, wow, they're really just nerfing every ADC, but I mean, I guess it makes sense if their crits are better. Come here, Oil. Hey. I also don't understand the ordering of all this. Like, I don't understand why they're going in the order that they're going. It won't make sense to me. Jhin won't behave any differently next season, as we want to avoid letting his guaranteed crit fourth shot do too much damage. So his base stats multiplicative crit damage mod is down a little bit. Okay, it's not that big of a change. Sivir. As Sivir is going to gain a lot of power from stronger ricochet crits, we're reducing her Q's scaling. So her Q damage is 85% bonus AD to 70% bonus AD, with the crit scaling going up a little bit, but not really. Okay. That sucks. Zeri. We're updating Zeri's E to crit exactly as a basic attack would, which means retuning some of her abilities to make room for that power. So her W damage has gone down, the total AD ratio is down, and through wall damage, looks like it's also down with IE from 2.15% to 1.975%. And yeah, interesting. And then the E spark surge damage bonus AD is also down. And then the crit scaling is up a lot. So her E gets a little bit of a buff in some way. And then her R damage is also down. Okay, well, they're nerfing every ADC, so they nerfed her too. Interesting. I'm really excited. I'm sure I'm going to read through nerfs on every single ADC. I'm really excited to see if ADCs feel more powerful, even if they're getting all these stat nerfs. I have no idea. It seems like they're going to feel more powerful, but we'll see. Lucian's builds are pretty sensible, and as a spell focused ADC, we want to make sure his spell scaling is good. We're updating R to fire even more bullets, that's cool, with crit damage, which will make crit scale his ult just as well as it scales basic attacks. Considering he's already got extremely strong AD scaling, so we want to make sure that Nefori Flicker base feels good. We're bringing down some of his Q AD scaling. So his base stats, AD growth down, attack speed growth down, that sucks. Q piercing life, bonus AD is up early but down late, and the base damages are up a little bit late, but yeah, oh my god, bonus AD down 20% late sucks. And then the R culling extra bolts from crit chance, 100% of bonus crit damage up to 22 to 28. So with Infinity Edge, it's going to be really, really nice. And yeah, it scales really good. Wow, cool. Lucian, wow, attack damage growth and attack speed growth down though. That sucks. That's all Lucian has. All right, Xayah. We're updating Xayah's E to care about crit damage and adjusting her E's damage profile. Cool. So her damage is up, the bonus AD is down, the scaling, but the crit scaling is now better. Wait, we're updating Xayah's E to care about crit damage, but here it's saying that it already scaled up to 75%. I don't really know how to interpret this, but cool. Draven is very auto attack focused and averages about 2 crit items per game, so he's also in need of some compensation. Considering he's gaining direct auto attack DPS, we're trying to compensate him directly. So his AD growth is down, that sucks, and his attack speed is down on his W, that also sucks. I mean, he's an early game champion, he's still going to be strong. These nerfs suck, but what are you going to do? Also, it's interesting to me that he only averages 2 crit items a game. I feel like Draven tends to go like a really weird mishmash build where like he goes like Bloodthirster, or he'll go what's it called, Ghostblade, and goes like random early lethality items sometimes, and doesn't really opt for crit because he just wants to end the game. And this is a crit Draven's gonna be so strong still. This is interesting. Yunara, this champ is OP for so long, I kind of forgot she existed. Yunara is a crit build and an on-hit build, but even her on-hit build almost always picks up hurricanes, so she's getting stronger no matter what she does. Next season, we're looking for nerfs that will skew more towards low attack speed, high AD crit builds, as they'll be more directly buffed by the global crit damage increase. So her attack speed Q is down, and her RW Arc of Ruin bonus AD ratio is also down, and the damage is down. Interesting. Okay, bye. Akshan, oh my god, I forgot about him. Oh my god, yeah, of course. Akshan's abilities currently scale and crit in 3 different ways, and we're making that more consistent here. His passive auto, being functionally a true basic attack, will crit for 100% value. Meanwhile, the crit scaling on E and R going down as compensation. We're also doing some discretionary adjustments to allow Q max and E max to perform at similar levels of power by adjusting their rank up incentives. Okay, interesting. So his passive is doing more damage. Interesting. Atakhan I already think is really, really strong, so I think this like the strongest champion in the game, but whatever. And then his base damage on his Q is way up, but the AD scaling is 80% total to 70% bonus. Is like a slap in the face. What the hell? Oh my gosh, that sucks. And then E heroic swing damage is, the total AD ratio is up a lot, but the base damage is down, and then the crit scaling is also down. Interesting. And our crit scaling is down as well. Interesting. I wonder how Akshan will change with this. Gangplank, another crit champion. We're gonna go through all of them. Oh my gosh, no wonder. Gangplank is one of 2 champions alongside Smolder who we think is going to gain extra power due to Essence Reaver. Once again, building from Sheen, we expect him to perform spoilers. Okay, so passive, Trials by Fire. We have his passive 0% crit scaling. Oh, so this, okay, so it scales with his crit. I see. Interesting. And then his E bonus champion damage is down. And then the timer no longer reduces to this at level 19. Wait, that's funny. There was a bug that if he got level 19, it reduced to like almost no time. That's funny. No longer deals 5% more damage on crit strike. Also sucks. All right, well, it sucks to suck. Yone won't be much different this year, considering how he doubles how much crit strike he gets from each item. He just isn't allowed to crit for full damage. All right, so his crit damage is down. I don't know, get shit on. Yasuo's the same thing, get shit on. Misfortune. Misfortune tends to build quite a lot of critical strike chance, and we'd like it to stay that way, but she can't be directly buffed, so we're here to compensate some of that by softening her Q crit mod. She's the best ADC in the game right now, by the way. For her R, we want to make sure that critical strikes feel like they have some impact, so we're increasing the crit mod slightly, but in order to not push her scaling too hard, we have compensated that with a new base damage and lower AD ratio. So her Q active crit damage is down a lot. Her R bullet time damage is down a lot. Oh my lord. 60% total AD from 80 to 60. That sucks. And crit scaling is up a lot though. Okay. Way weaker early game. Yeah, I mean, she's the best ADC in the game right now, so good luck. Tryndamere is getting some real gameplay updates with this patch and some very real nerfs due to how much crit strike chance he normally has. Great. To weaken how incredible his early game all-ins can be with 200% crit chance, or crit damage, we're nerfing his early bonus AD from Q and nerfing his E as well. However, he's also getting some new tools. First, his Q now gives full value at 10% remaining health, meaning he can get the full bonus AD during his ultimate, and it no longer has a disincentive for ranking up. Wow. Second, his W will now slow enemies anytime they are running away from Tryndamere, regardless of where they were looking when he cast it. We expect a substantial increase in reliability as a big buff, so we preemptively nerfed the slow itself. Though the slow duration is going down, the AD reduction is still the full 4 seconds. Wow. Why would they remove this? Why would they remove that? That was like, it was like Cassiopeia. It's like one of the outplays you could do on Tryndamere is like turn around. That was like a cool mechanic. Why would they remove that? Whatever. Q attack damage is down a lot, right? And his maximum bonus AD is at 10% now, which buffs his ult. His W no longer slows enemies who are facing away when cast, and now slows any enemy for 2.5 seconds, and the slow is reduced, and their AD is still reduced for 4 seconds. Interesting. And then E spinning slash damage is down, and oh, it's up a little bit base, but the bonus AD is down 30%. Okay, this is a huge nerf, by the way. The nerf on his Q and the nerf on his E is huge. Oh my gosh. This is really nice, the maximum AD change though. But oh my gosh. This is a huge change. 25 plus 0.55% missing HP to just 0 plus 0.8% missing HP. Maybe that's not as big as I think. I do think it's pretty big though. All right, Twitch. Twitch's late game team deletion with 200% crit damage will probably be too fast. True. So yeah, attack speed growth down, AD growth down, Q bonus attack speed down. It's not that big of a nerf, honestly. He's like, this is like a tap on the wrist. It's not that serious. Okay, good for you, Twitch. Ashe is already quite attack reliant and pretty balanced, but considering she buys about 1.5 crit items per game, we're lowering her late game a little to make room for the increased damage coming her way. So attack speed growth down, AD growth down, and her passive crit scaling is buffed. That's nice. And then her W volley is a little bit nerfed. It's from 110 bonus AD to 100% bonus AD. So yeah, this is a little tap on the wrist as well. We take that. I like Ashe. Smolder is like Gangplank, stands to gain a lot of power from Essence Reaver's change in this patch. So we're taking a swing at how strongly his Q scales with crit strike purchases. So the crit scaling is now 50% of bonus crit damage. Yeah, cool. I hate Smolder. This is not the biggest nerf. Relatively, he doesn't build crit that much, but I do hate Smolder. So yeah. All right. Next we have Kindred. Boo. Kindred E mechanics are rather confusing. No, they're not. And they build several critical strike items already. Properly gendering Kindred. We updated the E to be much easier to understand and reducing the numbers. We're also modernizing the E's monster cap to allow for more damage from building AD and ranking up the ability. Cool. So E, there used to be an E max Kindred build. Missing health crit 1.5 to 1.9 if the target's below this to 50%. So the E missing health crit is down, so it's going to be a little bit worse of an execute. The pounce damage is also going to be a little bit worse, and the monster damage cap is 300 to 200 to only the percentage HP portion. So it's a buff. Okay, so you'll farm faster. Kindred. So I think the nerf on the E kind of sucks, but again, you're doing more damage, so it's okay with your autos. I think this monster damage cap is low-key a huge buff. Kindred is a pretty good objective taker with how much damage she does, and her E does a lot of missing health damage, but it was not that good against minions or like barons and dragons because you just get the 300 damage. Now with the extra scaling that you're gonna get, I do think this is going to make Kindred a much better objective taker, which I think is a nice buff. I like this change a lot. Actually, I think this is a fair trade. Corki. Corki isn't particularly strong at the moment. Thank God. I hate this champion. He's unkillable. So while there's a nerf on paper, we expect Corki will be overall stronger at the start of the season. Boo. This nerf, whatever. Okay, so his W damage per second is down. What a random nerf. What a random nerf. What in the world? This nerf is aimed at weakening his ability to crush a minion wave right before a recall. This is so random. What? It's like they didn't change him at all. This changes like nothing. What in the world? All right, When Shaco crits during a backstab or deceive, everything crits along with it for his full crit damage, so his top end can be very, very high. We like that he builds for crit sometimes, and we want to let as many of these tools inherit the new higher base crit damage, but also want to modernize his other scalings to respect crit damage mods more consistently and generally preserve the total power of Shaco builds that don't buy any crit chance. Cool. So hopefully they're nerfing him. So his passive damage is down 5% scaling AD, and the crit modifier is up a lot. So, you know, he does automatically crit a lot of times. So this is kind of a buff. His Q deceive backstab modifier is now down, or it's up early, but down with Infinity Edge. Good. And his backstab on crit damage is up. Like the damage modifier is down, but the crit multiplier is up, so doesn't that offset? I hate this champion. Graves. Oh, speaking of champions I hate, the functional result of these Graves changes should be almost nothing. He'll deal about 1% more damage with his basic attacks when critting, so his crit damage is down, okay, and then his total damage on crit is up. Whatever. I hate this champion. Whatever. 1% change doesn't matter. Don't pick Graves in my games. Quinn. As Quinn builds a decent amount of crit and that crit manifests in stronger autos and more passive procs, we're compensating nerfing those same auto-reliant passive procs. So the damage is AD scaling down. Why? Wow. This passive, her passive has gone from 10 to 95 plus 16 to 50% total AD to 15 to 120, so barely up, and 40% bonus AD. Oh my god. That sucks. That sucks, right? I think this sucks. I think this is a big nerf. Yeah, I think this change isn't doing that much. Or it's a nerf. Big nerf. Senna, okay, OP champ. Like Jhin, Yasuo, Yone, Senna's guaranteed crit strikes cannot sustain a 2x modifier, so we're lowering her base crit damage. Cool. So she just does less damage if she builds crit. Whatever. That's not too crazy. Garen. Critical strike chance on Garen is pretty good since both his basic attacks and judgment are improved by it. We want to continue to make space for non-crit Garen builds, so we're compensating the global crit strike damage increase and updating the calculation to properly discount bonus crit damage. So his E-crit ratio has gone from 80% of total to 30% of bonus. Yeah, so that's not that big of a change. Nobody builds crit on Garen anymore. Well, I guess sometimes they do, but Garen's in like an awkward spot. I think he should be in an awkward spot, honestly. I think he kind of is a toxic champion, so I'm kind of happy to see him at like the average to below average range. Rengar, this champion is so broken. Rengar is getting a heavy rescript. This is mostly intended to maintain current functionality and feel while addressing bugs and tech debt. A list of bugs is too long to add here, so it'll be added in the bug section alongside crit changes. We're looking to make Rengar's Q work more intuitively by letting the underlying attack itself roll for crits, and if so, deal bonus damage based on the total AD. This removes an optimization around rushing IE to enhance the old forced crit mechanic, and also makes him not immediately lose 30% of his damage if his opponents build Randuins. We'll keep an eye on lethality versus crit Rengar. Cool. So 8,000 bug changes. Q now consumes on plants. Interesting. Q no longer always considered a crit. Q no longer deals extra damage. Q now deals 100 to 130% total bonus AD if Rengar crits. Okay. Whatever. This champ's OP. Fuck you, Rengar. Viego. Viego buys a decent amount. Yes, I love going crit Viego. Oh my god, how many crit champions are there? Viego buys a decent amount of crit chance, so we want to make sure those crits allow him to play a consistent auto attack pattern, so the large nerfs are due to the active damage on the Q and the R. I mean, this makes sense. When you build crit on this damage, he does crit on this champ, he does so much damage. So percentage current HP crit scaling is 50%, so it's down 1.75. Okay. Second strike crit scaling is up. Interesting. And active crit mod, 50% of bonus up to 1.5, 1.65 is down. This is a little confusing, but essentially the way I interpret it is like the Q damage is down, but the auto attack, the double auto attack you get on the passive, or the Q passive, is up. If that makes sense. And then R, crit scaling up to 2 times. It's now 70% of bonus, so it's down a little bit. That kind of sucks. A lot of like the go-to Viego build for a little bit since they changed how crit works with him has been Kraken Slayer into Collector into Infinity Edge into full crit. And maybe he'll go back to a bruiser build now. We'll see. Oh, we're done with crit champions. Wow. For now. Elise. Elise is in a silly spot where ability power quickly fails to scale her damage against monsters after the mid game. We're delivering a change that'll be a slight buff on average, which is primarily meant to let her damage scale up with AP like it would for anyone else. So her Q gets AP scaling. Cool. For monsters, whatever. At least people don't even play this champion in the jungle anymore. This is like become a support champ. This is crazy. So I'm glad to see her getting jungle buffs. Jax. Now that the top lane quest can raise champion levels to 20, we're looking for any champions who intermittently scale their passives and giving them another breakpoint if they deserve one. Jax is one such champion who's gaining a bit more attack speed at level 19. And that's the last champion change. Great. Well, pretty much they're only touching AD champions and crit champions. And I would say they did a good job. I mean, who knows how it's going to feel? It's going to feel so different. So there's really no interpreting these changes until we feel it out. I will say Corki got a nothing burger change. So I think when Corki's strong, the game's really unfun because he's so tanky and does so much damage. He is a very unfun champion to play against. So I hope he's not meta. Other than that, I mean, who knows how the game will feel. I like the Elise buffs a lot. Put her back in jungle, and then this change for Jax isn't going to affect anything. It's quality of life. Let's see how the rest of the game is changing. So we have Omnivamp. As we add Omnivamp items back in the game, we've discovered a few ways in which the previously reworked Omnivamp stat isn't doing its job well enough, and we're updating it here to function fully as lifesteal and for it to serve its purpose correctly. Omnivamp now applies 100% value, reduced to 33% value from pets damage over time and area effect against minions. Okay, so now that Omnivamp covers the needs of Doran's Blade as a lading item, we're adding it back into the item in place of the life-draining passive. Jack of all trades, enjoyers, and rejoice. Wow. Great for Jack of all trades players who love Omnivamp. Omnivamp is a very scary stat to add. Omnivamp is a really, really good stat specifically because it works on true damage, and true damage cannot be reduced. And so champions who get Vamp on their true damage heal a lot. We're looking at you, Fiora. We're looking at you, Camille. We're looking at you, Vayne. Very interesting that they added this back. They removed it for a reason, so we'll see. New items. All right, starting for this season's start, we look at itemization across all of League's classes and subclasses and made at least one item for each class, focusing on subclasses that have less existing itemization support to make sure that every subclass has a healthier number of satisfying items for the champion to buy. There's also a few returning items from the past and a number of changes to existing items to refresh and improve the item system as a whole. Great. I think items are one of the big pain points in League of Legends consistently over years. Lots of items are ignored, and what tends to happen in League is it funnels towards a most efficient item build path, and a lot of champions ignore what's going on in the game because it's better to just build the best items. The optimal ADC build, the optimal burst mage build. These are build paths that happen, they get discovered, and there is low nuance, and I don't like that. So I'm happy they're adding items to the game because I like there to be decision making when building items, and I like that decision making to be impactful. Dusk and Dawn. Most AP fighters have incentives in their kit to auto attack, but they have very little access to items that actually support that pattern, since Lichbane and Ashers don't offer the defensive stats that the subclass often needs. Dusk and Dawn offers a sheen pattern that doubles on hits to help champions in this space live their dreams of sustained combat with lots of additional on hits to enhance whatever their kit is already doing. So it's a very good build path. It's an amazing build path. And then total gold cost is 3,100, kind of high, but fine. AP 770, health 300, ability haste 20, attack speed 25%, and spell blade 1.5 second cooldown after using an ability. Your next attack deals 100% base AD and AP on hit and applies on hit effects in additional time. This is so good. So there are lots of champions who have on hit passives who are AP champions who are going to love this. The ones I could think off the top of my head are Kayle, Gwen, Diana. If you think of another one, let me know. But these champions have on hit passives that when doubled, they increase their power significantly. Gwen getting her extra auto attack or her extra stack of Q is big. Diana getting an extra rotation of her passive is big. Hers is every 3 attacks, so it's going to be really good with this. Kayle obviously does a ton of damage. Echo is another wonderful one. Oh my gosh, Echo is going to be broken with this. Oh my gosh, Echo is going to be broken with this. Wow. Oh my god, Echo is going to be so good with this item. Wow. Oh my god, Echo is going to proc his passive. Okay, so a meta, there's a ghost in my house. A very meta Echo build right now is to have Nashers. If you're in the jungle, a lot of Echo players run Nashers. I even see it mid lane sometimes. And the reason they go Nashers is because the most consistent way to proc your passive is auto attacks, and it also helps with jungle clear. But it's a lot of times it's hard to hit your Q with how much mobility is in the game. And so what you end up doing is you E, and if they dodge your Q, it doesn't matter because you just auto to get your passive. This is going to make it so when you E somebody, it insta-procs too. And so it's going to be so easy to hit your passive because you either just auto attack them one more time with the attack speed you get from this, which is way better than Nashers, or it's, you know, just as good as Nashers, or you could tap them with your Q. This is going to be so good. This is an Echo item for sure. Fiend Hunter Bolts. When marksmen look at Zeal items, we want them to have different options to choose from that are good in different situations or good for particular champions. Fiend Hunter Bolts allows for a concentrated amount of power after casting an ultimate, which is particularly exciting for the marksmen that already have the patterns like Twitch, Zeri, Yunara, Vayne. Some others might like the ultimate haste this item offers, or just want to be able to get immediate combat value after ulting. So this is Zeal Scout Slingshot, so it's only attack speed. It's a cheap item like all Zeal items. It's got a ton of attack speed, crit, movement speed, and then ultimate haste, and then opening barrage. After casting your ult, your next 3 basic attacks gain 50% attack speed, so it's like Hail of Blades, and crit for 75% of your normal crit damage. If an attack would already crit, it deals normal crit damage, also deals 10% bonus true damage. Wow. Yeah, I could see this being the new go-to item for some champions. I don't think Twitch will get this because he wants Runons, and you really can't afford to go 2 attack speed items, like because obviously you need armor, pen, infinity edge, and then usually they're going like an AD crit item as their first item, like either it's like collector, or you see whatever that Yuntal item, and so you usually only have room for 1 attack speed item on top of Yuntal, and a lot of times it's Runons, like Yunara wants Runons, Twitch wants Runons. Zeri might like this though. Interesting. Endless Hunger. Since the removal of Gore Drinker and the removal of Omnivamp on Eclipse, AD caster fighters have little to no access to sustain via the item system. That is true, actually. Endless Hunger is a heavy AD scaling item that rewards building high amounts of AD and can lead to some awesome pop-offs in team fights if you can get a takedown and keep casting through the enemy fight. So Caulfield Pickaxe, 1000 gold. Really awkward build path. It's like similar to the shield cut item, but no lethality. This is weird. 60 AD, 20% tenacity. What in the world? 5% Omnivamp and Famine. Gain ability haste scaling with your AD. What? And then when a champion you damage within 3 seconds die, gain 50% Omni. What in the world is this item? What am I looking at? Why does this item have tenacity? Okay, fine. I'm fine. You get 20% Omnivamp and a bunch of ability haste scaling with AD. What in the world is tenacity on this item for? This is a great item. I think the big thing to note from this item that makes it so that I don't hate this item is that this item has no health. Very importantly, this item has no health. And so I think a lot of people right now are frustrated. With the state of AD bruisers because they get so much AD and ability haste and they feel unkillable because they have 3000 to 4000 HP because every AD item gives HP. This is unique in that it doesn't give HP. So I actually think it's okay because it's not a lethality item. It is not a health item. So if you build this, sure, you get healing, but you're going to get one shot. So I'm very interested to see how this one goes, actually. Bastion Breaker. Most AD assassins aren't particularly good at ending games, even when they are capable of getting lots of kills. This can lead to frustrating situations where the assassin player feels like they don't have the tools they need to complete the game, and the players on the receiving end get continuously killed and stay trapped in a game they can't survive. Bastion Breaker gives AD assassins a new luxury item that can help them close out games by giving them large amounts of damage to epic monsters and turrets as long as they're building a lot of lethality and can kill some takedowns. So they get Brutalizer, Serrated Dirk, which is a ton of lethality. Oh my god. 22 lethality, 55 AD, 15 ability haste, sharp shaped charge, dealing ability damage to a champion or epic monster, deals an additional huge amount as true damage. Okay, so just with this item, if you rush this item, for example, you are dealing what, 150% of lethality, so that's 31, so you're doing 60 true damage on an ability. I wonder what the cooldown on this is. It doesn't say. That's nice. Wow. And then Sabotage, taking down a champion within 3 seconds of damaging them grants Sabotage for 90 seconds, and while you have this active, your next attack against an epic monster or turret deals an additional 300 plus 2500% lethality as true damage. So if you have, let's say 30, what's the math in this? If you have 30 lethality, or let's say you've like, yeah, 30 lethality. Oh my god, what is the math in this? It's 7,500. So you do 30 and then 75, 100, 200. So it's like, you're going to be doing like 1,000 damage over 3 seconds. All right, Actualizer. It's been a while, but we've got a new active item. Oh my gosh. This one is made to support mana stacking builds, to create more builds where mana isn't just a limitation, but instead make it so that it can be an advantage to have large amounts of mana available to you. What do you mean mana is a limitation? Mana is not a real resource. Activating Actualizer significantly increase your mana cost in exchange for lowering cooldowns and more ability damage, healing, and shielding for a short duration, so you get your mana items ready for a very powerful pop-off moment. So it's Lost Chapter, Blasting 1,000 gold, 90 AP, 300 mana, 10 ability haste, no HP. Mana Made Real is for 8 seconds, your mana is empowered. While empowered, your spells cost 100% more, and you gain 15 plus 0.005% bonus mana, increased ability damage, healing, and shielding with your basic abilities. And they progress 30% faster. Who is this good on? Who's this for? Who wants this? Like, you don't want this as Rise. So like, you want this as like Burst Mage to get another rotation. So like Syndra, Lux. I wonder like, okay, so if it's good on Lux, here's the thing. Here's an important thing that I'm curious about. Does it double your damage? Because okay, it says you gain increased damage. Does the damage count before you cast a spell? So for example, if I Q somebody as Lux and then throw my E and I see it's gonna hit them and I activate this item before it hits them, but the spell's already in midair, does it buff that item or that spell? Or do I have to activate it and then throw the spell? You know what I mean? I think that's a huge difference, and if it's the former, it's great on Lux, and if it's the latter, it's not good on Lux. Xayah could be okay. Ziggs would be good with this for sure. 0.005% bonus mana, so you need 20k for an actual. No, but you end up like, think about it. You end up with it's a 15. This is a percentage bonus math, so it's 15 plus this much percent. So let's say you get like 3,000 mana, which is pretty realistic, or like 4,000 mana with a tier Roa build. Like you're bumping this up from 15 to 20%. And it's pretty significant. Karma, Karma like this. That's a good point. Cassiopeia. I don't think Cassiopeia would like this because her E is her main damage. So here's something to consider. If this item is just crazy good, like let's say the percentage damage amp is so good that it just doesn't matter whether or not you care about the ability haste, then a lot of champions are going to build this. And so like I could see this being the item that every champion builds, right? Every single champion in the game is building, every AP champion who builds a Lost Chapter item is building Actualizer, because the 15 to 20% damage amp is just broken, right? I could see that being a thing, right? Because mana's not a real resource, so you may as well just do it. Even if you're not getting good cooldown reduction, even if you're a champion like Rise or Cassiopeia, where the spells you are casting primarily to do damage have no cooldown already. So I would say this item is like very, very riding the edge of like potentially OP. Keep your eye on this one for sure. All right. Hex Optics C44. We've always wanted to support more diversity in crit marksman builds after the first item, Interesting. So Hex Optic C44 is here to add an additional option for those looking to opt into big teamfight outputs. If you can get one takedown, you can get some extra range to help you secure more kills, and on top of that, you get some bonus damage together with how well you could space your opponents. So we have Pickaxe, Noon Quiver, Longsword, another crit item. And then we have a cheap item, 50 AD, 25% crit, and that's it. And then Magnification, deal up to 10% increased damage with attacks based on how far away the enemy is. Okay, so this is great in the front to back comp. And then when a champion that you damage within 3 seconds dies, gained 100% range. Interesting. So this item goes pretty crazy on some champs. And this item is also a great example of a situational item that is just good against some comps. If you're playing like a very standard control mage, Jinx, Enchantress, double tank comp, you always want this item because this item functionally reads as you get 10% damage amp. Because you're always going to be attacking their front line who has no kill threat on you. Now, if you're playing against dive champs, you don't want this item. If you're playing against champs who can get in range of you, you don't want this item. Even if you're a long range champ. All right, that's okay. Finally, we get the new Enchanter item. Oh no, wait, is this the, oh yeah, okay, this is the OP item. Hi, MF. All right, Bandlepipes. This is the item I have been talking about that is going to break the game for the first month of the game. This item will be getting nerfed at a store near you. Expect every single tank support to build this item first. Expect this item to ruin your day because it's broken. So tank supports don't have many items, and the ones they do have generally focus on helping them roam or protect their allies. We wanted to do a different direction this game, instead giving them a team-wide attack speed aura that you can keep up in fights as long as you're able to frequently apply crowd control to your enemies. So this is a 2,000 gold item. Let me repeat that, 2,000 gold. Can you think of another item that is 2,000 gold? This is insanely cheap. It's got the best build path ever that all these melee support items have. It's got decent stats. Yeah, pretty standard stats. These are like locket stats. And then fanfare, slowing or immobilizing an enemy champion grants fanfare for 8 seconds. Fanfare grants 20 movement speed while you have nearby allies, and while you have fanfare, nearby allies gain 30% attack speed. Are you kidding me? This item is so broken. This item is so broken. Oh my god. You might even see like, I don't know, I don't think a range champion. I'm thinking like Misfortune support, like with her E, just permanently giving this. There is a reason that Riot League of Legends has removed auras from the game. Auras are impossible to balance and extremely strong because of how much effective stats you're giving out to 5 champions. And they have taken almost every single aura out of the game. Locket aura, Taric auras, even Sona auras have been like super nerfed. This item is going to be so crazy. If you get hit by a CC, you're done. It's over. I can't even like think of how strong this item is. It already feels so oppressive if you're playing the Enchantress versus melee matchup when the enemy has like Glacial Augment, right? Like Glacial Augment makes you feel so bad. You're like, oh my god, I can't even walk away. I have to flash every time I get hooked and I have to outplay every hook. Now, it's over. There is no flashing away because you're getting move speed and attack speed for 8 seconds. Like you can't, oh my god, if you get CC'd in a team fight or a 2v2, it's over. This is so crazy. This item is so good. I cannot I feel like I don't know if I'm using hyperbole. This item is going to be insane. I'm so convinced this is going to be insane. Ashe support, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's only 4 seconds, but I still think it's going to be pretty good. I don't know. I really think this item is going to, like, this item is, my prediction, this item in 1 month will be 2,300 gold, which is a huge increase, you know, 15% increase, 2,300 gold, and its duration is going to get lowered. That's my prediction. This is crazy. How do you play against Nautilus with this item? Tell me, what Enchantress are you playing that is living against a Nautilus with this item? Huh? This is crazy. What? Nautilus procs this item with every one of his abilities, except W, but this is crazy. Oh my gosh. Rakan will be gagging it out. Everyone will. Sejuani jungle. Yeah, it might even be a jungle item. Maokai. It stacks with Faelights. Yeah, that's true. We'll try Ashe support. Yeah, Ashe support sounds funny. Taric with this item. Taric actually kind of struggles to proc this. If he does proc it, it's good. But Taric, one of the issues with Taric is that he really, like, it's hard for him to hit a stun. And if somebody outplays the stun, you lose. So, I mean, yeah, it's insane if he hits a stun, but it's hard. Leona will proc this with every ability. Yep, Leona's crazy. Nautilus is crazy. I mean, like, Nautilus, imagine Nautilus. You dodge his hook, but his hook hits the wall, and then he just slows you with his E. Boom, it's over. He gets 20 movement speed. He's walking up to you and auto-attacking you. You're dead. This is crazy. This is so crazy. All right. Protoplasm Harness. Tanks have a lot of tools to make them more durable in different ways, but Protoplasm Harness offers them a lifeline item that has some movement speed and tenacity to enable a choice. Do you want to keep going forward, or do you want to try to leave the fight? If you're tanky enough to survive, you can even get the full benefits from the healing over time this item grants, which scales with your armor and magic resistance to make sure it slots very well into resistance building tank builds. So this is Kindled Gem Giant's Belt, 800 gold, 2500 gold, cheap item, 600 health, 15 ability haste, low stats. Lifeline. Taking damage that will reduce your health below 30% causes you to gain 200 maximum health for 5 seconds. That's not a lot. Then heal 200 to 400 plus 250% armor and magic resist health over the duration. That's a lot of healing. While regenerating health, you gain 15% increased side movement speed and tenacity. Wow. That's great. Wow. 200 maximum health, by the way, is a true heal. This is like Lulu ult. This is not affected by heal cut. You will just gain 200 health. And the nice thing about tanks is your 200 health is worth a lot more than other people's 200 health because you have so much resistance. So this is really, really nice. It is like a little mini Mundo burst of healing. Like imagine like a Mundo ult for 5 seconds, but not as much healing, but it's a lot of healing, right? Like, I mean, you could easily see like 800 healing out of the champion for this because, again, of the 200 max health plus the scaling. So, yeah. And then, you know, the movement speed and tenacity is nice. I don't know who this would be good on. This would probably be good on like dive tanks. Champions who really want to get into it and like stick on you because they have like consistent slows, but it could also be good on champions like Singed and other things like with Rylai's to get them out. I don't understand necessarily who this might be good on, but I know this item is good. This item will not be good on like Zac or those types of champions, but it will be good on like a lot of other champions. Even like Cho'Gath might like a lot of people might like this. All right, supports. Whispering Circlet and Diadem of Songs. This is a 2-item pair for enchanters, a new evolving tier item. Some enchanters really like mana, and some even step into the mage system to get it. So we're going to offer a new item that allows them to get flat mana from the enchanter system, but also scales well with additional mana purchases if anyone does want to get into a heal-based mana stacking build. I don't know any support that builds tier besides Sona. I don't know any support that would want to build tier besides Sona. Like maybe Yuumi, but who's, I don't know. I don't know. Am I wrong about that? So is this just a Sona item? Great. I mean, I'm happy. I want Sona to have items. I'm happy for it, but this is like literally just for Sona. So build path, Forbidden Idol, Ruby Crystal tier. So cheap item, health, mana, regen, heal, shield power is great. Gain mana equal to your heal and shield power, which again, the percentage is incorrect here. But it is a percentage mana increase, like a death cap for mana, which is pretty cool. And then landing abilities grants 4 max mana. Oh wait, duh, that's just your fucking tier passive. Okay, so let's see what the item does. So you get the mana multiplier, heal shield power, and then consonants. This is the payoff. While you or an ally you've healed or shielded in the last 3 seconds is in combat with champions, each second heal the lowest health nearby ally for percentage of your mana. Soraka? No, Soraka will not build this item. Yumi, maybe. Seraphine, maybe. Taric does build tier. That's true. Taric, yeah. Wow, yeah, Taric. Right, this is yeah, absolutely Taric. Yeah, good point, Nvi. This is a Taric item for sure. Taric never finishes his tier because all the tier items suck on him. So this is a good Taric item. Yeah. Okay, so the other thing of note that is not mentioned here that is important is tier items are no longer mutually exclusive. You can stack multiple tier items. You can build more than one tier, but you can only have one at a time. So you could build tier, finish this item, and then build another tier. So is there a world where Sona goes triple tier item and just goes mana, like mana explosion? Because you don't need heal shield power if your heal shield power scales on mana, right? Meow. Seems okay on Lulu. I don't think you could build tier on Lulu. I am a big believer that tier is only for the super scalar champs. It's like putting 400 gold in tier early on is like a huge detriment to your laning phase and your power, and only a few champions can get away with it because tier would be good on a lot of champions theoretically. It's just like you can't afford to do it. You need your first item spike. Like Soraka needs her redemption or moonstone. Like you need these items. So it's a little awkward, but I don't know. Like I think I could work on Sona. Like she already wants to scale. She doesn't care. I think money falls randomly on the rift. Well, you are doubling your gold. So if you remember the support item quest, which I have to scroll up an eternity to get to for whatever reason. Oh my God, Riot making me fucking read for 3 hours straight. Where is this item? Oh my God, where was it? Did I pass it? Like, I don't even know. Oh, here. Oh my God, that was so far. Supports have double control F. You can't control F. Supports have double their gold generation almost. 5 gold per 10 to 9 gold per 10. Supports are going to have a lot more gold this season and an extra item slot. So I do think supports can go more greedy builds. This is, of course, after you finish your support quest. This is not right away. This is once you finish your support quest. Let's check returning items. Abraham Mayhem enjoyers already know Gunblade is one of the most requested removed items, as well as a popular item in alternate game modes. Despite a relatively limited champion pool user, we think that we could control some of the negative gameplay of this item with tuning, especially on the amount of omnivamp granted on the frequency with which users can apply the powerful active effect. So we think this is safe to lock back in. So it's Vampiric Scepter, Hextech Alternator, and Amp Tome. Super awkward build. Longsword into Vamp Scepter and then triple Amp Tome. I guess it's okay. 80 AP, 40 AD, 10% Omnivamp. Omnivamp in this game is something. And then the active obviously shocks the target, does damage, it doesn't scale with AD for whatever reason, and then you slow them. Who builds this item besides Katarina? Is Akali still a hybrid champion? Like, is it just, does everyone who wants a slower in their kit build this item because a slow in your kit is broken on champions who don't have CC? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who's building this item? Anyway, I'm happy to have it back, but take the Omnivamp off and then we're good, Riot. Stormrazor, another crit item. Oh my God. Stormrazor complements our efforts at increasing the variety of items available to critical strike using champions, providing another energized effect in that system. Stormrazor will be our second AD attack speed crit strike option in the ecosystem. It's actually the third. Oh no, it's not. Lowering the degree to which critical strike build paths funnel through Yuntal. Interesting. So we have an alternate rush item. This is BF Sword, Cloak, Scout, exact same build path as Yuntal. That's interesting. 50 AD, 20 attack speed, crit, and then you have energized attacks, apply 100 bonus magic damage and movement speed. I do like, do y'all remember when this game had Stormrazor that slowed you by like 70%? Do you remember that? That was so Oh, that was so toxic. I'm glad that they put this version in. My issue with this is when they print 2 items with the exact same stats and just different passives, people just tend to buy the one that's better, right? There's just like some fucking mathematician and theory craft island is just going to decide that Yuntal is better than Stormrazor this week, or Stormrazor is better than Yuntal next week, and then every AD is just going to build one. It doesn't really theoretically or practically lead to build variety, but I do think this item's cool in general. All right, let's check updated items. Unending Despair. This item, oof. The dual resistance offer version of Unending Despair was intended to slot well into health stacking builds in the 2nd or 3rd slot, but it ended up being so generically useful that it overrode the choice structure in top and jungle tank builds, regardless of what their first item was. We're returning it to armor only, but this version has a bit more ability haste in order to differentiate it from the other armor plus health items. Okay. Whatever. I don't care. This doesn't mean anything to me. Who cares? Aegis removed? Bye. That sucks. Horizon Focus has bounced around between Artillery Mage item and Crowd Control Synergy item and Control Mage item over the past few years. We're going back to the Artillery Mage version since it's a high fantasy and exciting for the subclass, whereas the other versions have been mostly functional but not particularly interesting for the other subclasses that item has supported. So Fiendish Wand now becomes Fiendish Amp. Nice. Total gold down 50. Build path is much better. AP down 50. Oh, okay. Ability haste 25, and then dealing ability damage to champions at 600 range or more reveals them, to dealing ability damage at 600 range or more reveals them and does 10% increased damage. And then when hyper shots triggered, reveal all enemies. Okay, cool. I mean, yeah, damage amp. It's worth it. This is so worth it for the 50 AP. This is amazing. It only affects your wave clear that the 50 AP matters, but build path is better. Gold is down, passive is more damage, and you just lose 50 AP. It's a good trade. You missed Twin Shadows. Oh my god, I missed Twin Shadows too. Oh, I always called it Spooky Ghost. Spooky Ghosts. Okay. I think Horizon Focus is a good item. Horizon's forever been a shit item. You'll die on that hill. Okay, girl, you're dead on that hill. I don't know what to tell you. It's not a shitty item. Oh, Horizon Focus. Oh, it is a Teemo. Oh my god, wait. Oh my god. As the first and best Teemo jungle main in North America, I think this is a great item. Oh my god. Revealing people at range is so nice. This is great. Cool. Sundered Sky, fuck this item. I hate this item. Everyone who builds this item is a noob. I hate this item. Remove bruisers. With basic crit damage going up, Sundered Sky needs to be retuned, and we also believe it's a bit too generically powerful as it is now. So we're doing some adjustments that should overall slightly power it down and make this item a little bit less generically appealing to help let other fighter items shine. Thank God. Okay, AD is up. Crit strike damage decreased. Lightning strike cooldown increased. Yay. All right, so this item's broken. Obviously, every single bruiser and their mom builds it. Even like assassins build it. I hate this item. And yeah, the cooldown. I think the biggest thing here is the cooldown going up 2 seconds. But I don't know. I hate this item. Can we ban the streamer? No. Luden's Companion. So we're bringing back the old name. So it's now Luden's Echo. Cool. Sure. I don't know why you ever changed it. Echoes of Helia. This was intended to fill in the space between the Enchanter and Mage system, but it ended up being a bit too far towards the Enchanter space and didn't quite fill the space. We're making it more synergistic with Mage items and more accessible by making it less necessary to be spamming both heals, shields, and damage effects, which makes it unnecessarily narrow. Okay, Kindle Gem, Bandleglass Mirror. So, okay. Ability power, health, mana regen, haste, and then gain 35%. Okay. This is Athene's Unholy Grail. Gain 35% of pre-mitigation damage dealt to champions' soul charges up to this, and then healing or shielding ally consumes it. Cool. It is a little unfortunate that there are some champions like Milio who I feel like really liked Echoes of Helia. I don't believe this will be a good Milio item anymore. Because of how his heals work, he will be proccing. He won't burst heal really. This I don't think is great on him. Interesting. Essence Reaver. Okay, she and Essence Reaver is back. Thank God. Oh my God. Why did they, if it like, put me on the Riot balance team right now. Previously, it was removed in favor of a stat stick Reaver. Boo. That was intended to be more broadly appealing, but as it turned out, while it did serve some additional champions, it ended up just being a fairly flat and unexciting item, so we're bringing back the Sheen with some tweaks to make this version of Sheen Essence Reaver more balanceable. Bleh. So Pickaxe Caulfield, boo, and then Sheen Caulfield Cloak. It's still crit. That's cool. The AD is down by 5. That's... Whew. Ability is up. You're telling me that you're giving this item Sheen passive and only removing 5 AD. That's crazy. And 5 ability haste. And grant 50%. This item's so broken. What are you talking about? What is this? Is this item not so broken? What in the world? They replaced the pickaxe with the Sheen. A pickaxe, which is what, 30, 25 AD? So how much AD? And they reduced it by 5. What? What? And it still gives you mana. What? Isn't this just crazy? This is just like better in every single way. Okay. Well, Lucian stocks up. I love Lucian, so winning for me. All right, Overgrowth. This is the worst item in the game. This item should have never been introduced, and whoever designed this item should be in jail and tried for the crimes. And the fact that this item is still in the game in its current state is an abomination and a failure of design at Riot Games. And I believe that they will never succeed as a company until they remove this item from the game. In its current form, Overgrowth is tailored to fit supports and is not structured to be powerful for anyone that has a real income. This has led it to be a fairly unpopular and mostly unsatisfying item, and it's not fulfilling its purpose as a way for AD assassins to have an advantage in interacting with the vision system. We're giving it an update to make it more functional for jungle and mid lane assassins while still looking to retain some of the aspects that make it very exciting to buy as a support for the Pyke players out there. So the path is more expensive, 300 more gold, which is a nerf to support. AD is up, ability is up, lethality up, and then after being unseen by enemies for 1 second, your next attack against a champion deals a... Wait. You're Joe. You're actually Joe. After being unseen by enemies for 1 second, your next attack against a champion deals this much true damage. When you're near a stealth ward and traps, reveal them for 8 seconds. While revealing it, your attacks deal 3 damage. I can't. I mean, do you know who's rushing this item, chat? Everyone say it with me. Kha'Zix. Yes, this item's crazy. What in the world is... Riot? Riot! What are you thinking? Man. All right, Redemption. This is the most fun item in the game. Redemption has been an extremely broadly appealing item for supports recently, especially in pro play. When it was first made, we had many fewer tank support items. It was intended to be purchasable for both the Enchantress and tank supports. In its current day, we don't need Redemption to be as broadly appealing, so we're pushing it more towards the Enchantress space to make it sure it works very well for them and making it a higher opportunity cost for tank supports to pick it up. Great. So, it's Fiendish. Oh, I kind of hate this actually. Wait, I kind of hate this. Icky. I don't want 30 AP. I like the health. What? Oh, I don't know. The health is one of the best reasons to buy this. I think this is gonna make me go back to rushing Moonstone on a lot of champions instead of Redemption. Oh gosh, it feels so bad not to buy that too. And that health early is so nice when I'm playing Soraka or any Enchantress. Like, oh, it's very good. I don't like this. The health is so important. It's so important. This is a very interesting decision. I understand they don't want melee supports to build this, but now they have the most OP item in the game to build, so they're not going to build this. Pro play has a chokehold over Riot Games, and that needs to be studied. Zeke's Convergence. All of our other ultimate trigger items give ultimate haste, and Zeke's has room for a bit more power and could be a bit more unique in the tank support item space, so we're giving it ultimate haste. Tier items. We're bringing back the ability to stack multiple tier items. Yay! Oh, they're also buffing the mana. Yay! This is nice for 1 or 2 champions in the game. It doesn't matter. This is also really good for troll builds, which... Era Mayhem. Hey! Zeke's is going to be really nice. Maybe on Taric. I don't know. Who the hell is building this? Okay, Mortal Reminder. We're doing a pass at crit Last Whisper items here to make marksman crit damage a little lower against swishy targets. Okay, so cost down, armor pen down. This is the dumbest change I've ever seen in my life. Lord Dominic's Regard. We're doing a pass on Last Whisper crit items to make marksman crit damage a little lower against swishy targets. Okay, gold up. What? Armor pen down. Giant Slayer now deals up to 50% bonus damage against champ. Okay, they may as well have removed this item from the game. Mortal reminder, you'll never see this item again. This is the only item that matters. I don't know what the hell you're talking about with reducing the armor pen to 30%. That is not, this is so unserious with modern armor gain. Like this is just unserious. Even 35% is like a joke. This is unserious. And them adding Giant Slayer back just like seals the deal. Nobody's buying Mortal Reminder anymore, unless you're playing against 5 assassins, and then Giant Slayer doesn't matter. But in any game that has a tank or a tank support, like you're building this item. Great change for LDR. I love that. Fantastic. I love this. This should never have been removed, but really, really awkward to differentiate these two in such a way. I really think the only thing that differentiates these two should be Giant Slayer versus the heal cut. I think the AD should be the same. I think the cost should be the same. I think the armor pen should be the same. And I think they should have 2 passives, one for killing tanks, one for utility. And that's it. It's very silly to me that this has less armor pen because it makes it so much less appealing in situations where it might actually be better. And that makes people not buy it. So silly. All right, Yuntal. Yuntal was intended to be a powerful scaling first item with some trade-offs in terms of its immediate power, but so generically powerful that it's crowding out the first item space for crit marksman. It's a little bit more power shift. This is a little power shift to make it unique first item aspect attack speed stand out, but also a little bit of a power down to make it more comparable to the other first items in terms of power. Okay, so 80 down, 5 attack speed up, and cost up. Yeah, well, like I said, everyone's either going to buy this or buy the Stormrazor first item, and it's some mathematician's going to figure out which one's better, and it doesn't matter. The passives don't matter. Infinity Edge, I'm not reading all that. AD up, crit damage down. That sucks. With baseline, okay, I'll read it. With baseline crit damage changes, of course, IE needs a bit of retuning. We want it to remain a powerful capstone item, but with baseline crit being higher, it can't give as much crit strike damage. Okay, so maybe, I mean, I get that's why they're nerfing the armor pen, but it's still silly to me. Cost up sucks. Cool. Wow. I am excited for these item changes. I think overall, a lot of them are good. I don't understand this redemption change. That's got to be the biggest question mark for me. This Umbral Glaive change is so strange to me. This Essence Reaver change is a huge buff. I like the nerf on Sundered Sky. The Horizon Focus revert is good. Unending Despair revert is whatever. Stormrazor is very nice, but like I said, it's just going to be Yuntal or Stormrazor every game. Gunblade is awkward. I get that they're adding it back in for fun, but it's unserious, and Omnivamp's OP. This Whispering Circlet item of Songs item, I don't understand if it's going to be good. I don't know if it's good, whatever, probably is. This item I also don't understand if it's going to be good. Seems like there are some champions who love this, like Singed and Mundo, but I don't know how crazy it is. Bandlepipes is probably going to be the most broken item in the game. I really don't understand, like, am I just being pea-brain stupid nothing idiot? Or is a 2,000 gold item that gives you AoE 30% attack speed, like, is that not the most OP item you've ever heard of in your life? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being stupid. This item is unserious, but it's for fun, and I like for fun items. Actualizer is going to be disgusting, but, you know, burst mages deserve to do more damage, so I love it. Bastion Breaker sounds really fun. I actually love this item, but it's like crowded out by all the other new items. But this item is super duper cool. Doing the extra true damage to objectives. I like it. Endless Hunger is like awkward. It gives no health, so I don't know who's buying this besides Riven and maybe like Lethality Aatrox, but even he wants health. But yeah, Omnivamp again. Oof, Omnivamp in game, great. Everyone's buying Heal Cut, except you can't buy Heal Cut because they don't have any good Heal Cut items in the game. So, and then this one, Fiend Hunter Bolt. I don't even remember what this does. Oh, yeah, this is the ultimate item for Zeri. This is weird. And then Dusk and Dawn is really cool. Oh, I forgot about this item. Oh my god, Echo players cheering and Diana players cheering. I love this. I play both those champions. This item's so cool. Okay, we're all cheering. But yeah, interesting. All right, let's see the ranked and matchmaking changes, which matter for me because I like playing ranked. All right, season 3 ranked 25 season will end on local server time on tomorrow, which means fuck my Chungus life. I have to play a ranked game today, I think. What the freak? It's 5 o'clock. I've been reading this for 4 hours. Whatever. I'm just decaying. I don't care. I don't care. I'm decaying. I don't care. I got 233 LP. It's good enough. So I'm fine. I think I'm fine. Okay, period. I'm not playing ranked. Fuck ranked. Cool. I don't care about any of this. This doesn't mean anything to me. End of season ranked rewards. We're getting victorious. Who's the victorious skin this season? I don't know. Aegis of Valor. This is cool. As detailed in the dev, we'll be launching Aegis of Valor alongside 2026 season start. If you're autofilled to get Mastery C or above, you will not have LP deduction on a loss. That's crazy. Or you'll gain double LP on a win. That's crazy. I never get autofilled, by the way. In order to make sure autofilled players are trying their best, we've also made some behind the scenes updates to the Mastery system to better detect player contribution. Cool. For Masters, dodging a ranked champ select would cost more LP. I love that. Remove dodging from the game. I'm so sick of dodging. I hate dodging. Cowards. Stop dodging. All right, Apex duo restriction update. For most regions, you can now duo queue all the way up to Challenger. Whatever, I don't care. I'm not reading all this. Cool. Duo queue is fun. Let people play with other people. Who cares? Swift play. Nobody plays this game mode. All right, Arena. Some people play this game mode, but I don't because I'm cool. AR Mayhem, yes! All right, okay, so they have buffs and nerfs. I'm not reading all that. Augments. I really don't want to read all this either. Its killing time is OP. Okay, they made it better. Okay, they nerfed it. That's good. Flashy got buffed. That's nice. Steal Your Heart got nerfed. Nice. Earth's Champion got super turbo buffed. That's cool. And then bug fixes. I don't care. Okay, Demacia Rising. Demacia Rising is a new metagame. What? Demacia Rising is a new metagame that will be playable for the entirety of season 1. You play as Lux, who will be mentored. What is going on? What? You play as Lux, who is being mentored by your aunt Tiana in the ways of military strategy. This begins with a history lesson. In Demacia Rising, you will expand the kingdom, produce research. They added an idle game to League of Legends. You're shitting my dick. What? It's an idle game. I love idle games. Oh my god. In Demacia Rising, you will expand the kingdom, produce resources, train an army, research powerful upgrades for your army and towns, and defend the burgeoning nation from threats alongside several of the League's champions. The game will be updated several times during season 1 with new upgrade tiers, research items, stories, units, champions, threats, events will become available. In order to build your kingdom, you will need silver shields, a resource earned primarily by playing games of League of Legends. I love playing League of Legends. Daily and weekly missions will be available to provide large amount of silver shields. Playing LoL and TFT or completing missions will earn enough silver shields to finish the entire game. Purchasing the battle pass. It's always pay to win. Fuck you who pay to win. Playing a game with skin released during season 1 will reward. Oh my god, it's always pay to win. Cringe. All right, this is really cool. I'm excited. Lobby hostage taking and player behavior updates. Oh wow, do you think they're actually going to start punishing people? Trying to manipulate other players to do what you want, pushing a dodge penalty onto someone else, or playing out a game with something like Disco Nunu isn't just something we want. Just isn't something we want in League. Wow, that's so brave to say in 2026. You're so wow, League. Great. Starting with this patch, we've added the capability to terminate What? We've added the capability to terminate lobbies during Champion Select with detection systems that will evaluate players for hostaging when they're reported in Champion Select. Oh, gag. Whoa. Wow. Okay, sarcasm rescinded. That's crazy, right? Oh, wow. Sarcasm rescinded. This is amazing. Oh my gosh. We don't expect it to be perfect or catch every case on release, and we'll continue to build upon these detections throughout the year, so please send those reports to help us evolve our system. As a reminder, trying something off meta or having strategic disagreements with your team do not automatically qualify as hostage taking. Yeah, cool. So Champion Select will be terminated when a player in Champion Select is reported and determined to be holding the lobby hostage to force a dodge or any other reason. This will never trigger without a report in Champion Select, so be sure to report people. When a Champion Select is terminated by hostage detection, the offender will receive a penalty that will not allow them to immediately queue again, and all other players will re-enter matchmaking. Cool! Penalties for repeated disruptive gameplay have been increased. Improved detections, allegedly. It's all AI, so like, is it really good? And then if you receive an account ban for having an inappropriate Riot ID, you'll be unable to change your Riot ID. Why did they include that? You can't even see players' Riot IDs in ranked. Why would they include this bullet point here? This seems like it was in the wrong section, right? Why would they include this bullet point here? It does not fit the context of this. Interesting. Anyway. Lane-based autofill matchmaking. In our last dev update, we mentioned that we were working on some changes to make games where there were autofilled players more fair by matchmaking. Oh my god, can I read? Like my brain is melted. In our last dev update, we mentioned we were working on some changes to make games where there are autofilled players more fair by matching them by role. This means if your team is an autofilled jungler, the enemy jungler will also be autofilled as well to keep the games competitive. We wanted to let you know we're still working on these changes, but we don't expect to have them ready in January like we originally planned. We want to make sure we get this right, so we delayed the changes to February. We appreciate your patience. Well, I appreciate your communication, but you did nothing. And then Riot Games Community Pack. With the first patch of 2026, when you launched this cringe lawyer bullshit. When you launch League for the first time in the new season, you'll see a community pack that we've adapted across all of our games. It's pretty straightforward. It has 4 simple things. Asks, play to win, play fair, play with a select, or play something else. Where, okay, cool, whatever. This is lawyer bullshit. The community pack is an evolution of the code of conduct. What happened to the Summoner's Code? Bring that back. And covers what our expectations are for everyone that plays our games. And unlike past codes of conduct, each year we will ask players to recommit to it. Sure. To also better reflect these expectations in game, we've updated the reporting categories and descriptions. Ooh, yay. Oh, yay. Oh my god. When I write my essays while I report people, I'm so excited to be more precise. Clash, I don't play that. Bug fixes, I'm not reading all that. And then skins. You weren't joking. Oh my fucking god. Riot. Riot! Alright, well, let's look at these skins, shall we? Starting off, we have Prestige Veil Lady Morgana. This skin is Gorgiana. I have seen the splash effects of this skin in the Skin Spotlights trailer. This is probably the coolest Morgana skin in game. I know the pay to win one has transforming models, but this, oh my god, the particle effects on the skin are so pretty. Like they actually did a good prestige skin, which, you know, I don't like saying, but whatever. Wow. Next we have Petricite Cho'Gath, which I think is cool. Very Demacian themed. This is interesting. I like the lore of Petricite. I think it's cool. I like how big he looks in the skin. I'm a big monster lover, as we all know, and yeah, cool. We have Nautilus, who's similarly big. The skin looks great. He's got a freaking city tower on his arm. That's pretty crazy. And looks really cool. I like the design of these two skins. I like the white gold coloration. It fits Demacia. Yeah. And finally, we have Duran's Legacy Talia. I don't understand what this skin is or why it's here or what it's doing. I assume Talia is either getting buffed or she's getting put in the Demacia cinematic or the Demacia show or something, because it just does not make sense. I don't know why she's here, but this skin's okay, I guess. At least Talia got a skin, which she hasn't gotten in 15 years, so period. They yassified her. Yes, they yassified. Morgana is yassified. She is not a gloomy, evil angel now, except she was never evil. She's always good. You're on my desk, Oil. What do you think you're doing? My overall feelings in the patch are the quests are amazing, and I'm very confident that people are overestimating the top lane quest. I don't think the top lane quest is going to be that good, besides the fact that they will hit level 16 early. I think the mid lane quest is busted. I think the jungle quest movement speed is crazy, and I don't like how they accelerated the quest. I think the support and AD quests are enormous, great quality of life stuff. All the crit changes are like just numbers, so I assume they're doing good, but it's hard to really gauge it. The new items are awesome. I think the support tank item is going to be broken, but that's that on that. They changed Elise for some reason and made her better, which is fine. And then I like the split push buffs with the crystalline changes and the turret plating changes, and the vision changes. I actually think the vision changes are okay, but we need to learn more about them because it's kind of unclear right now. The minion changes and like the game accelerating pacing with removing Atakhan, moving up Baron, and like making minions spawn faster is interesting. I think it'll be good. I want a faster game. Oh, and then the best change of them all, the game is starting at 1 minute and 5 seconds now instead of 1 minute 30 seconds. Thank the Lord. I'm so sick of invades. I'm so sick of all this level 1 shenanigans. Enough is enough. Run to your lane where you belong and sit there, and do not invade my jungle. Let me farm in peace and mind your business. Thank you.